A warrior in ornate armor looks down, questioning his fate after his duty is done. A being of light confirms he must leave, as his presence has become a problem. He smirks, accepting that his immense power makes him an inconvenient existence here. The Radiant Guardian offers its final words of thanks for his service. The story begins. The dropout exorcist becomes the strongest after returning from another world. A sudden, violent shift in scenery tears the page. In a dark forest under a full moon, a young woman gasps for breath. The exorcist Kyugoka Nagisa is wounded, her left arm gruesomely dissolving into dark energy. She stands her ground, katana ready, against a monstrous foe shrouded in darkness. A multi-eyed arachnid horror, Tsuchigumo, looms over her as she realizes the situation is dire. With sweat beading on her face, she confirms just how bad things have become. She knows that at this rate, a slow, painful death is inevitable. Her eyes widen in horror as she realizes this isn't one monster, but a pair. Focusing on her wounded arm, she curses her carelessness for letting her guard down. The demon's poison numbs her arm, making it impossible to swing her sword properly. Seeing her captured companion in a cocoon, she knows she cannot expect help. Her eyes widen in sudden, horrified realization. She spots a grotesque nest hanging from the trees behind the monstrous spider. The nest is filled with eggs, the source of the recent string of disappearances. Her face hardens with grim determination, sweat dripping from her brow. Clasping her mangled arm, she decides she will not become food for this beast. With a fierce cry, she throws a purification talisman, refusing to be eaten. She unleashes a desperate, swirling vortex of spiritual energy from her blade. As the demon is engulfed in the blast, she allows a fleeting moment of hope. From the smoldering remains, the creature begins to twitch and reform with an eerie chitter. The Tsuchigumo rises from the flames, completely unharmed and utterly enraged. She stares in disbelief, realizing her powerful purification talisman has failed. The monster swats her aside with overwhelming force, sending her flying. Pinned beneath the creature's weight, Nagisa coughs up a spray of blood. Her vision begins to blur as she struggles under the immense pressure. The Tsuchigumo's dripping, fanged maw opens wide above her. As blood trickles from her lips, she vows she cannot die in a place like this. A calm, masculine voice cuts through the tension from off-panel. Hashimori Maya appears, casually dressed, complaining about his strange return as Nagisa screams at him to run. He sighs, annoyed at having to deal with this trouble so soon after coming home. The demon turns to him, and he wonders if it's cursing him for the interruption. Nagisa lets out another desperate cry, pleading for the civilian to flee. Maya's demeanor shifts instantly. His eyes sharpen as he identifies the creature as a Jackie. He stands with an air of absolute confidence, his hand outstretched to act. A paper or talisman, inscribed with a complex star pattern, flies from his hand. A massive barrier of golden light erupts, blocking the Tsuchigumo's powerful strike. Nagisa's face is a mask of utter shock and disbelief at the impossible sight. From behind his shield, Maya smirks, stating a barrier of this level is unbreakable. The monstrous spider is thrown backward by the sheer force of the impact. The Tsuchigumo crashes to the ground, stunned, while Maya stands completely unfazed. His sharp gaze turns from the demon to the wounded girl on the ground. In the blink of an eye, he crosses the clearing and kneels beside her, asking if she's okay. Nagisa is stunned into silence, her mind reeling from his impossible speed. She manages to ask if he, too, is an exorcist. He touches his chin thoughtfully, giving a vague confirmation that he is, more or less. Standing up, he asks more importantly about her condition and if she can still fight. She explains that she isn't well, that Tsuchigumo's poison has paralyzed her body. Maya takes in the information with a calm, analytical expression. As the Tsuchigumo begins to stir, he notes its recovery with a hint of annoyance. A new defense forms around him, a whirlwind of energy blades, as he produces another talisman. Nagisa watches in awe as the impossibly powerful defense materializes around him. He holds a talisman of a design she has never seen, a confident look in his eyes. The recovered Tsuchigumo launches a relentless, furious barrage of attacks. His swirling shield of energy blades intercepts every single projectile flawlessly. Nagisa marvels at his power, wondering how many exorcists possess such an unbreakable defense. Maya looks back at her with a calm smile, admitting this is all he can do. He explains that he cannot use offensive spiritual arts, much to her confusion. Pointing to a dead demon nearby, he tells her she only needs to defeat the remaining one. Nagisa looks down, her expression filled with doubt and hesitation. He tells her if only she were at full power, which give him an idea. He places a new talisman on her forehead, telling her to return to perfect condition. His gaze is intense as he instructs her to hold still, assuring her it will be quick. The talisman glows brightly, and a wave of pure energy washes over her. Nagisa is shocked as she feels the pain and even the poison vanish from her body. Maya stands, telling her that he will leave the creature's final disposal to her. With renewed strength and resolve, Nagisa grips her sword and agrees. She looks up at her savior, her eyes filled with sincere gratitude. The Tsuchigumo is held at bay, trapped by Maya's swirling shield of blades. The shield parts, creating a perfect, clear opening for an attack. Maya shouts the command to attack now, and Nagisa lunges forward in response. She unleashes her signature six-fold sword technique, crying out its name, Rika. With a final, devastating overhead slash, she screams the name of her finishing blow, Rakabaku. The monstrous Tsuchigumo is completely annihilated in a blinding flash of purifying light. Nagisa stands victorious, her expression fierce and determined amidst the falling debris. His purpose served, Maya turns his back and begins to walk away from the scene. Nagisa, still panting, calls out her thanks, crediting him entirely for her survival. He waves dismissively as he leaves, but she calls out, pleading for him to wait. He turns back, asking what she wants as she asks for the name of such a powerful exorcist. He seems annoyed by the question, scratching his head in frustration. She introduces herself as Kyugoka Nagisa, a name that clearly piques his interest. He gently chides her, saying proper etiquette is to introduce herself first, which flusters her. He asks if her Kyugoku clan is the most skilled among the legendary 6 houses. She meekly confirms this, admitting it's not something they like to broadcast. He mutters that this was a bad move on his part, as she presses him for his name. He hesitates for a brief, tense moment, his expression unreadable. He finally reveals his identity, his family name Hashimori, and his given name, Maya. A close-up on Nagisa's eye shows it widening in absolute shock. She asks if he is the infamous dropout from the Hashimori clan she's heard about. Her face is a mask of pure, unadulterated disbelief at this revelation. The narrative explains the history of exorcists, combat specialists descended from Onmyuji. Nagisa recalls the lore of the 6 houses, powerful clans renowned for their spiritual arts. Among them, one clan is known as the strongest and most irregular, the Hashimori. The story goes back 15 years to the birth of twin brothers in the Hashimori clan. As infants, the brothers crackled with immense spiritual power, born to be exceptional exorcists. A flashback shows that by the age of 12, one brother had surpassed first-rate exorcists. A memory surfaces of a young Maya, his face set with a grim expression. He was born with a fatal flaw, an inability to project his immense spiritual power. Labeled incompetent and defective, he was cast out, a dropout falling into nothingness. In the present, Maya listens as Nagisa begins to question his past. She asks how someone with his power could ever be called a dropout. Maya pauses for a moment, a thoughtful look on his face. His expression shifts to a knowing, almost mischievous smile. He explains that the reason his arts became so powerful is because he was sent to another world. The words "another world" echo as Nagisa processes the unbelievable claim. A memory begins, showing his armored leg in a fantasy realm. He recalls living on the edge of death in a world of dragons and floating castles. A divine voice from the heavens thanks him for his role in defeating the demon lord. The guardian of that world, Shingu, formally expresses his gratitude. Maya reflects on the 5 years he spent there, a time both long and short. Shingu admits that forcing Maya to fight was regrettable, but necessary to save the world. With a cynical gaze, Maya asks if he can finally go home now that his job is done. Shingu explains that Maya's immense power has become a danger to the world's balance. Resigned, Maya accepts this, knowing there is no longer a place for him there. He is sure they will manage just fine without him now. He adds with a smirk that there is no rice in this world. Anyway, Shingu offers his service to return his body to its state from 5 years prior. Maya is grateful, but asks about his power. Shingu says it will be slightly weaker. He waves a hand dismissively, accepting the terms without complaint. He says it's fine. He was useless 5 years ago, so he'll just train again. Shingu looks on with pride, stating that Maya grew just as he had foreseen. The Guardian thanks him one last time, bestowing upon him the title, Guardian Shinya. Maya finds being thanked by God strange. Shingu calls him a rude fellow. Annoyed, Shingu decides to just send him home. Maya calls him selfish. The Guardian gives a casual peace sign and bids him farewell. Shingu offers a final blessing as Maya decides he doesn't care what others think. Back in the present, he tells Nagisa that the evaluations of others mean nothing to him. His expression is intense. He finds such judgments arbitrary and meaningless. Nagisa listens, finding his perspective to be vague and difficult to understand. He explains it's exhausting to worry about others' opinions. More importantly, he remembers his adventuring party. He is no longer the person he was 5 years ago. The chaotic battles of that other world forged the man he is today. Nagisa watches him, a look of awe on her face as he speaks. A small, almost sad smile touches his lips as he reflects. His gaze sharpens. Compared to that life, this world is simply uninteresting. He can finally say such things with confidence now. Nagisa stands alone in the moonlit forest, pondering his incredible story. She looks down, her expression a mixture of confusion and wonder. She quietly whispers his name, Hashimori. Maya. Nagisa asks why he wants her to keep his involvement a secret and take the credit. He explains their positions. She is a Kyugoku. He is a Hashimori dropout. Confused by his tone, Nagisa wonders why he seems so angry. She argues that revealing the truth might help clear his stained reputation. He smirks, doubting that his name could be cleared so easily. She insists on repaying her debt, but he walks away, telling her it is unnecessary. He whirls around, shouting that he acted on his own whim and needs no repayment. He turns away again, his anger quickly subsiding. He tells her their meeting was just a coincidence, nothing more. Nagisa looks down, finally accepting his decision. She agrees to report it as he wishes and not to investigate him. As he leaves, Maya asks if she can handle her cocoon companion. Nagisa assures him that he has no need to worry about it. She thanks him one last time, but he waves it off as nothing. His name, Hashimori Maya, hangs in the air as he disappears. Nagisa watches him leave, her expression thoughtful and resolute. She reflects to herself that in some ways, he hasn't changed at all. The scene shifts to a long, sterile, and empty hallway. In a filthy back alley, a voice declares with disdain, "Ah, how boring." A thug named Yatsushiro stands over a beaten man, telling him not to get cocky. Yatsushiro interrogates the man, revealing his boss is looking for people. He grabs the man by his collar, demanding to be led to his gang. He kicks the man, stating that his boss is in need of people. An elegant pair of shoes steps into frame, and a voice tells Yatsushiro to stop. Yatsushiro turns to see a figure emerging from a bright light, asking what his boss is doing here. Yatsushiro smirks, acknowledging the arrival of his superior. He reports that he was just gathering the human sacrifices as ordered. A close-up shows the intense, cold eyes of the silver-haired man. He walks down a dark corridor, noting a barrier has been set. The silver-haired man confronts another, asking if he thinks he can be frightened. The other man looks down, a bead of sweat tracing his jaw. The silver-haired man dismisses Yatsushiro's actions, saying he doesn't mind using society's dregs. The beaten thug trembles, realizing they have value as sacrifices. The silver-haired man says he will offer support before they act. Yatsushiro grins menacingly, grateful for his boss's supervision. He slings an arm around the thug, explaining the situation to him. His eyes glow with malice as he leans in to terrorize the captured man. The silver-haired man walks away as the thug's body dissolves into energy. He reflects that gathering 800 human sacrifices in Japan will be a difficult but necessary task. A slight smile plays on his lips as he states that the time is near. He stands in a dark room, vowing that the curtain on his revenge will soon rise. He promises to bring absolute ruin to his enemies. A brief, violent image shows a person screaming in agony. Maya touches his chin, musing that it's only his first day back. He finds himself immediately thrown into battle against a monstrous creature. A historical flashback depicts Onmyuji as protectors who fought the darkness. The scene changes to a modern cityscape at night. At a crime scene, an officer notes they thought there were no survivors. Two officials watch Nagisa, identifying her as the young lady from the Kyogoku clan. Inside the Tsuchigumo nest, investigators find the cocoon victims kept alive as food. Nagisa formally bows to the officials, thanking them for their cooperation. An official remarks that she's a yokai extermination specialist, despite her youth. Nagisa reports on the phone that the mission is over, but her companion was injured. An inset shows her companion cocooned, as Nagisa says the injuries are light. The person on the phone tells her to leave the rest to Kiyotaka. Her expression hardens as she is coldly ordered to move on to her next case. Kyogoku Nagisa speaks on the phone, asking about the mission handover. She is curtly told to report verbally and await her next assignment. Standing alone in the aftermath, she quietly acknowledges her orders. A small sigh escapes her as she lowers her head in disappointment. She reflects that her father never offers praise, only expectations. Her achievements, she knows, will only bolster her older brother's reputation. She realizes keeping Maya's involvement a secret was ultimately the right choice. She regrets getting so flustered that she forgot to ask for his name. A passing policeman asks if she's all right as she crouches in frustration. She sighs, wondering if her mysterious savior lives in the nearby city. But a look of sharp determination crosses her face. She has a plan. She prepares a ritual, invoking her true name to give a command. A small, bird-like shikigami of pure light materializes on her hand. She tells the creature that a debt must be repaid. It's not stalking. With a final command, she sends her ethereal messenger into the night sky. A faint, confident smile plays on her lips as she watches it go. Her gaze is filled with a sense of eager anticipation for what's to come. She looks out over the glittering cityscape, ready for the hunt. The scene shifts to the bustling streets of a city at night. In a beef bowl restaurant, Hashimori Maya has a taste of heaven. His face is a mask of pure, feral joy as he devours his meal. Tears stream down his face, overwhelmed by his first taste of rice in years. He calms himself with a sip of miso soup, regaining his composure. He declares that rice is essential for Japanese people, a true injustice. He finishes his first bowl, ready for the next delicious helping. His expression turns serious, thinking of who he must deal with next. Fully satisfied, he steps out of the brightly lit restaurant. Walking the city streets, he complains about the god who sent him back. He concludes that the sloppy return is entirely that bald deity's fault. He flexes his hand, taking a moment to assess his new physical condition. His body is far stronger, but his spiritual power is unchanged. His recent fight confirmed his mastery of defensive and purification arts. He senses Nagisa's Shikigami following him, but his concealment art works perfectly. He smirks, noting his offensive spiritual arts are still completely useless. Still, he is grateful for the helpful powers he does possess. He recalls the powerful talismans he acquired, his ultimate trump card. He feels a sense of peace, knowing he has time to start over. With a newfound confidence, he decides it's time to head home. A sharp, determined grin spreads across his face as he resolves to sleep. His thoughts drift back to the other world, a journey now lost to him. That time feels like a distant, fading dream. It was a long, arduous journey to defeat the Demon Lord. A memory of his own determined face flashes in his mind. He recalls his companions, a fellowship of legendary heroes. They fought side by side against impossible odds. The four of them stood together, a bastion against the coming darkness. The memories are vivid, a world he can never return to. He was an outsider there, summoned from a different world. He sees the faces of his friends, stoic and determined. They were a family forged in the crucible of a 5-year war. But that time, those people are now forever out of his reach. A look of profound sorrow fills his eye as he remembers them. He recalls a friend's hand reaching out to him in a final moment. The next morning, sunlight streams into his messy apartment bedroom. A fragmented memory of a last request echoes. "We're counting on you." He steps out onto his balcony, overlooking the sprawling city below. It is his first morning home in 5 long years. He considers his breakfast options when a piercing alarm suddenly blares. He wonders who could be making such a racket so early in the morning. The incessant noise is overwhelming, causing him to stagger back in pain. A look of dawning horror crosses his face as he realizes who it is. "Understand, it's a child," he yells in exasperation. Hino Akane bursts in, furious that he is late and she had to come get him. She grabs him by the shirt, dragging him from the balcony. He is bewildered that she came all the way to his second-floor apartment. She lectures him about wasting precious time on a day off. She declares that from now on, he will be sticking with her. The kind Akane announces that she will personally train him. She strikes a pose, proudly introducing herself as a Hino clan prodigy. With her piece said, she slams the door shut, leaving him in the hall. He pounds on the door, sarcastically complaining about the great opportunity. He yells that her calling herself a beautiful girl is incredibly cringeworthy. She screams back at him from the other side, demanding he open the door. She can't believe he's ignoring a lady of the great Hino clan. From his balcony, Maya observes that she is indeed a beauty. Akane's anger turns to tears, wondering why he makes her feel so weak. He opens his door, telling her not to sulk on his day off. Blushing furiously, she shoves him away, telling him to wait in his room. She then blocks his door, warning him not to run away. She slams his own door in his face, trapping him inside her apartment. He yells through the door, accusing her of hiding lewd books. She frantically denies it, telling him she has no such things. He wails dramatically about the damage this will do to her reputation. Triumphant, she throws the door open, daring him to come in and check. The scene shifts to her room as she gets ready to prove him wrong. Akane lies on her bed, confirming there are no lewd books underneath. He leans in, teasing that such things are kept on a PC, behind passwords. She becomes incredibly flustered, stammering and sweating under his gaze. He looms over her, his shadow casting him as a terrifying figure. She begs him not to make such a scary face, completely intimidated. She sits up, her composure gone, and quietly says his name. He backs off, asking her if he seems different from usual. He wonders what about him has changed in her eyes. She notes his aura is calmer, more like her father's, unlike before. He realizes she sensed the massive gap in their true power. He thinks her strange behavior is actually rather cute, much to her annoyance. He tells her he's going to get ready and turns to leave. He returns to find her lounging on his bed, telling him to hurry. He mutters to himself about what an overbearing person she is. Akane sits up on his bed, looking around his messy room with curiosity. Akane sits on Maya's bed, remarking on being in his room again. She playfully dives into his pillow, happily taking in his familiar scent. She worries that she might have been too pushy with him this time. A quiet moment of reflection passes. Since yesterday, she's felt a strange, unpleasant premonition concerning Maya's safety. This feeling is different, a sense of security that wants to envelop him. She snaps out of it, flustered at the thought of enveloping him. More importantly, she steels her resolve for their mission today. With experience, Maya will gain confidence and become an incredibly strong Hashimori. Everyone will have to acknowledge him, because his weakness is her problem. Dressed and ready, Maya dryly asks what on earth she is talking about. He stands ready, his casual attire doing little to hide his sharp intensity. Akane tells him he's too loud on his own, but that's all right. Though her unease remains, she feels being with him will reveal something. Her intuition is usually right, so she tells him it's time to go. Their journey to the mountains begins. After a 2-hour trip, Akane declares it a perfect day for exorcism. Maya wonders why she's so excited, but admits the weather is good. He turns to Akane, asking her to confirm the details of their case. She describes their target, a lower-class Inno-Shishi yokai that ravages the mountains. He questions its rank, but she's confident, which is why she took it. She explains this is all for his experience with her as his follower. She proudly announces her grand midnight growth project to build his reputation. He finds her phrasing annoying, recalling she said something similar before. He asks her how she plans to track down the nostalgic yokai. With a confident grin, he announces that he will use his own feet. She notes that she can't use tracking arts in these vast mountains. She suggests using a map and luring it out with her tasty spiritual power. Though nocturnal, she believes good bait will lure it out during the day. He crouches, amused by her optimism, but trusting her yokai-attracting spiritual power. They continue their ascent up the long, winding mountain path. A lower-class yokai, he thinks, will be a good test of his power. She notes Maya seems strangely perceptive, feeling it would be bad to fail. His thoughts drift to another place, another time. He briefly considers that he might have to unleash that power again. The thought passes as he returns to the present. He watches her walk ahead, the forest quiet around them. A quiet realization dawns on him. He has finally come home. The feeling is profound and complex. That's right, the war in the other world is over now. Especially for a while, the brutal fighting was all he knew. His party assaulted the Demon Lord's castle in a massive diversionary tactic. The final battle was a chaotic melee where death was everywhere. He wonders how many warriors survived before Akane snaps him out of it. From the top of the steps, she impatiently tells him to hurry up. He looks up, his thoughts returning to the present mission. Sensing killing intent, he asks if anyone else accepted this request. He concludes that they must be being followed. From a ridge above, a shadowy voice asks what they're doing there. They look up at the figure, surprised by the sudden confrontation. The man recognizes Maya, contemptuously calling him the Hashimori dropout. Maya's expression remains shadowed and impossible to read. The man mocks the dropout for having a pleasant hike with his friends. Akane angrily demands to know who the strange men are. The man feigns confusion at her aggressive question. The leader looks down, intrigued by the girl with the dropout. She asks if he knows who she is, a member of the Hino clan. He confirms he knows, which is precisely why he's asking what she's doing. His response leaves Akane completely flustered and confused. She demands he state his purpose on their client's land and give his name. He's genuinely shocked that she has no idea who he is. He covers his mouth, finding her ignorance almost unbelievable. She doesn't see what's so strange, as Maya tries to hide his laughter. He seethes with rage, finding it unpleasant that the dropout is laughing. Maya apologizes, telling Akane that the men are acquaintances of his. His subordinate begs him to calm down, but Ryuki insists he is calm. Maya teases her, asking if she ever meets him at clan gatherings. He is one of the 6 houses a water user and Minakami heir. He formally introduces himself as Minakami Ryuki, the next head of his clan. Akane offers a flustered apology, admitting she rarely attends family gatherings. Ryuki scoffs, saying she's fallen low by teaming with the Hashimori dropout. Akane furiously asks Maya why he's laughing when they're being insulted. Ryuki dismisses Maya, telling her it's useless to bother with such a person. He mocks Maya for failing the Hashimori secret art due to low power. Akane is stunned into silence by the cruelty of his words. Maya listens with a faint, unbothered smirk on his face. The Hashimori secret art involves summoning otherworldly beings to form contracts. It said even the great Onmyuji Abe no Saimai had such power. The Hashimori clan inherited this special power of Shikigami contracts. Unlike normal exorcists, who are limited in who they can contract, Ryuki explains that most can only contract with beings weaker than themselves. Akane yells at him to stop, knowing their art has no upper limit. This is why the Hashimori are hailed as the strongest of all clans. Ryuki bursts into a wild, mocking laugh. He reveals Maya couldn't even summon a beast, let alone form a contract. Akane screams at the man in glasses to stop making a fool of Maya. He retorts, asking what's wrong with glasses, insisting he's speaking facts. He preaches that an exorcist's only value is strength born from talent. He claims it is kindness to force those without talent to retire early. Enraged, Akane is about to attack, but Maya calmly holds her back. She demands to know why, but he simply tells her to calm down. Ryuki declares that an exorcist who cannot fight is utterly meaningless. Maya quietly agrees that his harsh words are, in fact, the truth. Ryuki dismisses him as a defective product and orders him to leave. Akane explodes, reminding him this mission was officially accepted by the Hino. Maya calmly states that Ryuki still hasn't answered his original question. Ryuki asks if it's any of their business, implying it's an unsavory matter. He seethes, telling Maya not to have such an impertinent curiosity. Maya's eyes glint, enjoying how he's getting under the other man's skin. Akane declares their trespass illegal and threatens a formal protest from her clan. Minakami Ryuki thinks this escalating into a clan problem would be a grave mistake. His subordinate urges him to act, reminding him there is no time to waste. Hashimori Maya turns his head, his sharp senses detecting the new arrivals. Hino Akane gets in Maya's face, angrily demanding that he pay attention to her. Ryuki's face contorts in a mask of pure rage at Akane's loud interruption. He bellows at the noisy woman, declaring he has nothing to learn from her. The Minakami exorcists are all startled as a violent tremor shakes the earth. Akane asks Maya what is happening, confused by the sudden, strange feeling. Her expression turns to one of alarm as she senses an immense power approaching. The ground vibrates violently as a massive, dark form begins to rise. The Minakami exorcists stare in abject terror at the creature emerging before them. They shout for everyone to prepare for battle, steeling themselves for the fight. A colossal, tattooed arm slams down, shattering the rock and earth beneath it. A massive, horned Oni with a wild mane and a demonic mask lets out a roar. The Oni's landing sends a shockwave that throws the smaller exorcists off their feet. Akane gasps, her hand covering her mouth in shock as she identifies the creature. The Oni glares down at the humans, its malevolent presence filling the clearing. One of Ryuki's men nervously suggests they may have been lured into a trap. Ryuki grits his teeth, realizing the Oni must have appeared because it sensed them. Maya calmly deduces the Oni's true goal was Minakami's seal, not a direct fight. Ryuki shouts in disbelief, finding the sudden turn of events to be impossible. His mind races through threat levels, shocked by the Oni's impossibly rapid growth. Maya knows such rapid evolution is unnatural for any yokai, regardless of the cause. A subordinate begs Ryuki to flee, but he refuses to abandon the fight. Vowing to defeat it, Ryuki unleashes his clan's signature water spirit technique. The blade of pure water strikes the Oni's chest with a brilliant, explosive flash. Ryuki raises his fist in triumph, believing his powerful attack was successful. But the Oni emerges from the smoke completely unharmed, a cruel grin on its face. Ryuki's face is a mask of pure shock, unable to believe his attack failed. His subordinate calls his name, but Ryuki grits his teeth, saying he understands. He orders his men to surround the beast and erect a barrier to protect him. Two of his exorcists begin chanting, preparing to form the protective spiritual wall. Ryuki's expression is one of grim determination as he prepares for his next move. He activates his spirit armament, his spiritual energy coalescing into a physical weapon. His men shout commands, launching their own, lesser attacks to support their leader. Ryuki's eyes widen with focus as he manifests his clan's powerful weapon art. His men cry out in frustration as their attacks prove useless against its tough hide. Ryuki swings his polearm, screaming at the Oni not to look down on them. The Oni's arm smashes his powerful spirit armament into pieces with a single blow. The monster roars triumphantly, its raw power completely overwhelming Ryuki's technique. From the sidelines, Akane is surprised that even a spirit armament was defeated. Maya agrees, noting that despite the powerful weapon, it was no match for the Oni. Akane takes a decisive step forward, her shoe grinding against the rocky ground. Maya turns to her, calmly asking if she intends to join the unfolding battle. She admits the yokai is hateful, but she simply cannot stand by and watch. A slight smile touches Maya's lips as he agrees, telling her to be careful. Akane's face is a mask of fierce resolve as she tells him to just watch her. A flashback shows a younger Akane, who explains her mixed heritage made her an outcast. She remembers being surrounded and bullied by other children because she was different. A young Maya, the dropout, stepped in to protect her and was beaten for it. In the present, she grits her teeth, declaring that his past doesn't matter. Flames swirl around her as she remembers that day was the moment she changed. She channels her spiritual power, preparing to manifest her own spirit armament. Her fiery spear, Shure, materializes in her hands as she calls out its name. With a wild, joyful grin, she declares this Oni is a worthy opponent for her. She leaps into the fray, vowing that she must be the one to defeat it. The Oni turns its attention to her, letting out a low, threatening growl. The tip of her fiery spear pierces the Oni's tough hide in a shower of sparks. The impact explodes in a burst of spiritual fire, causing the Oni to roar in pain. Akane lands gracefully, asking the beast how it likes the taste of her flames. She stands ready with her spear as the Oni recoils, stunned by her powerful blow. Ryuki's men are shocked to see another spirit armament user from the Hino clan. Maya smirks with approval, correctly identifying her weapon as the flame spear, Shure. He notes that she is one of the rare few capable of manifesting such a weapon. Ryuki, consumed by jealousy, yells at her not to interfere with what is his prey. Akane coolly informs him that he can't win alone and that he's going to die. Her blunt and painful assessment that he will die hits him hard. Ryuki gasps, shocked into silence by her brutal honesty and confidence. He grudgingly agrees not to interfere, instead proposing a contest between them. He notes her sudden change in demeanor, eager to see the Hino clan's true power. Akane invokes her true name, gathering flames that will burn away all obstacles. She thrusts her hands forward, unleashing her ultimate technique, Inri. A massive torrent of indomitable flame rushes towards the surprised Oni. The colossal demon is completely engulfed in the roaring, all-consuming inferno. The Oni's head is visible through the fire, its face contorted in agony. One of Ryuki's men praises the Hino clan's famous specialization in offense. Akane leaps back, telling Ryuki not to get cocky and to continue the attack. Ryuki grits his teeth in annoyance, but agrees that she doesn't need to tell him. One of his subordinates shouts for the others to follow Ryuki's lead and press on. The Minakami exorcists launch a coordinated barrage of water-based spiritual attacks. The combined assault of fire and water creates a massive, obscuring cloud of steam. Seeing the effect, Ryuki orders his men to press the attack relentlessly. Akane joins the barrage, launching powerful fireballs into the cloud of steam. She believes they can win, as they have two spirit armament users on their side. Maya watches the seemingly successful attack, his expression filled with unease. His eyes narrow as he mutters to himself that something is still terribly wrong. A low, guttural growl begins to emanate from the heart of the steam cloud. The Oni's demonic aura explodes outwards, stronger and more menacing than before. Akane looks on in shock, wondering what that terrifying, overwhelming presence is. Sharp, crystalline spikes begin to burst forth from the Oni's hardened back. The Oni's entire form mutates, growing larger and more armored with jagged spikes. Its power skyrockets, its immense spiritual pressure dominating the entire battlefield. Akane is paralyzed with fear, recognizing the impossible level of its demonic energy. Ryuki panics, unable to comprehend how the Oni could have powered up a second time. His eyes widen in horror as he notices something new on the creature's body. A single, ominous purple jewel now glows on its forehead, overflowing with yokai energy. Ryuki's subordinates scream, asking what's happening and if it's getting stronger again. The Oni lets out a low, menacing growl, its power now fully realized. It unleashes this power in a deafening roar that shatters the very mountain. Akane screams in terror, throwing up a desperate barrier against the oncoming blast. The hegemon-class Oni is engulfed in a cataclysmic, ground-shattering explosion of power. The immense shockwave rips through the clearing, sending rock and debris flying. From a distance, the blast appears to have violently sheared off a mountain's peak. The concussive force continues to tear across the ravaged battlefield with incredible power. Akane is thrown to her knees, gasping at the unbelievable power of the roar. She realizes with horror that the barrier was destroyed by the monstrous shockwave. Maya sees his fallen comrades, realizing he and Akane are the only ones left. Ryuki screams in fury, refusing to accept that he, a genius, could be defeated. Raising his weapon, he invokes his true name to unleash his ultimate power. He chants an ancient incantation, calling forth a spirit from the brilliant waters. He offers his power, commanding a calamity to emerge and devour his foe. With a mad grin, he tells the monster to consume his very soul. He unleashes his ultimate technique, Bakuryu Gounshihawa, summoning a massive water dragon. The colossal water dragon, formed of pure spiritual energy, roars as it charges. The hegemon-class Oni meets the attack with a swirling vortex of demonic power. The Oni's single, contemptuous blow shatters the massive water spirit instantly. Akane watches, knowing even Minakami's powerful summoning art was not enough. The Oni's arm, wreathed in dark energy, smashes through the attack effortlessly. The water dragon is completely annihilated by the overwhelming demonic force. The impact is absolute, leaving no trace of Ryuki's ultimate attack. Ryuki screams in disbelief as the force of the blow hits him. He is sent flying backward through the air, utterly defeated by the monster. He gasps in shock, unable to believe that he has lost so completely. His body tumbles through the air, his spirit and pride completely shattered. He crashes to the ground, his consciousness fading into darkness. The victorious Oni stands amidst the rubble, its power now uncontested. Akane stands alone, her fiery spear shure held firmly at the ready. She knows Minakami's amplified attacks were useless, wondering what she can possibly do. She resolves that giving up now would mean the end, which is unacceptable. Maya calmly steps forward into the clearing, his expression unreadable. He faces the monstrous Oni, his gaze steady and determined. He stands before the colossal beast, a lone figure against impossible odds. Akane feels a sense of déjà vu, realizing she must not show any fear. She remembers a young Maya protecting her from bullies despite being outmatched. She resolves to protect Maya now, vowing to fight to the very end. With a sad smile, she decides to self-destruct rather than be devoured. She shouts that she will hold the Oni off, telling Maya to escape. She believes that even if she dies, her father will handle the aftermath. She laments not having enough time to confess her feelings for him. She decides against it, knowing it would only cause him pain. She accepts her fate, finding peace in her happy memories with Maya. With a ferocious grin, she declares that she will never let Maya die. A hand gently pushes her face, and she yelps in surprise, hitting her nose. She stumbles back, her suicidal charge completely and comically interrupted. Maya calmly observes that she sounded just like a stepped-on cat. He stands before her, a strange talisman floating near his hand. He turns to face the Oni, his otherworldly talismans now orbiting him. Akane, still on the ground, asks what the strange talismans are. Maya announces it is time to switch players, much to her confusion. Akane can only stare, stammering his name in utter disbelief. He holds up a talisman and declares the deployment of a divine creation artifact. The Oni watches, sensing a new and profound threat approaching it. It glares at the lone figure, the glowing jewel on its forehead pulsing. Akane scrambles up, demanding to know why Maya isn't running away. He calls her an idiot, stating he would never leave her behind. The unexpected words cause Akane to blush furiously, her heart pounding. She stammers, completely flustered by his declaration of loyalty. Maya quietly asks if she was truly prepared to die just now. She denies it, claiming she was just about to self-destruct with the beast. She yells at him to stop being annoying and asks about the talismans. He calmly confirms that the powerful, glowing talismans belong to him. He explains he has already healed the unconscious Minakami clan members. Ryoki, though healed, remains unconscious from the devastating battle. Maya adds he also erected a barrier to contain the damage. Akane is stunned, wondering how he could use such a powerful barrier art. The Oni attacks, but the blast dissipates harmlessly against an invisible shield. Maya just smiles, completely unfazed by the powerful demonic attack. He stands his ground as the Oni's immense power crashes against his defense. Akane realizes in shock that he just repelled the Oni's ultimate attack. Maya smirks, telling her that a man can change in just 3 days. His confident gaze sends a thrill running through Akane. He tells her to leave the rest to him and have some tea. She protests, insisting the special rank Oni is too much for him alone. He turns away, confirming that he cannot use offensive spiritual arts. He adds that his talismans are not meant for direct attacks either. Akane cries out in desperation, asking how he plans to fight. His face hidden in shadow, he simply repeats her question back to her. The ground beneath him cracks as he prepares to move. Akane screams his name as he launches himself forward. He explodes across the battlefield in a blur of impossible speed. He cocks his fist back, his voice simply stating like this. The world whites out in a massive, concussive impact. He slams into the colossal Oni with the force of a meteor. Akane can only stare, her face a mask of utter shock. Maya moves with blinding speed, a whirlwind of motion against the beast. His eyes gleam with power as he prepares his next move. He leaps into the air, the ground below him erupting from the force. The shockwave throws Akane back, the ground shattering around her. Maya lands in a crouch, explaining it's just a physical attack. Akane can only whisper that his explanation is far too simple. He looks back at her with a confident smirk, asking if she understands. She stammers his name, asking who, or what, he has become. The Oni roars in a mixture of pain and incandescent fury. Its eyes burn with hatred as it glares at its new opponent. Akane points out how furious the Oni is, but Maya is amused. He grins, welcoming the challenge and telling the beast to come at him. He crouches, ready for battle, seeing this as a perfect opportunity. He wants to test the limits of his power in this world. The Oni glares, its rage reaching a boiling point. The battle between the dropout and the hegemon is about to begin. Maya's powerful kick sends the colossal Oni reeling back from the explosive impact. With a predatory grin, Maya declares he will use this beast for a test. He fearlessly launches himself at the roaring, monstrous Oni, ready for another assault. Twisting through the air, he unleashes a devastating, high-speed spinning kick. His heel connects with the Oni's jaw in a brilliant flash of force. A confident, almost joyful smirk plays on his lips amidst the furious battle. The massive demon stumbles, its monstrous face contorted from the powerful blow. Akane realizes with awe it was a simple attack, merely imbued with spiritual power. Even without releasing energy, he can converge it to reinforce his body immensely. This turns his physical blows into attacks powerful enough to combat any yokai. One of his otherworldly talismans glows, a star symbol at its center. The glowing talisman floats beside him, enhancing his every strike with purifying energy. Akane stares in shock, her eyes wide as she notices the strange talisman. She understands the principle behind his power, but it still seems impossible. He weaves through its defenses and lands another bone-shattering punch on the beast. Akane wonders at the immense spiritual power required for such destructive attacks. He calls the beast's attacks slow, dodging easily before unleashing a furious combination. The Oni's tough, crystalline hide begins to crack and shatter under the barrage. It lets out a guttural roar, no longer of rage, but of pure agony. Akane shouts that this is unbelievable. His power defies even monstrous logic. Clouds of dust and shattered rock fill the air from their destructive clash. His eyes are sharp and focused. He tells himself not to be fooled. He recalls his master's words. A humanoid structure is always predictable. The martial king taught him the cornerstone of battle. Find an opening, strike. A younger, battered Maya understood, impressed by the martial king's wisdom. His winged companion, Shinya, had noted that such a thing was difficult. Another comrade teased Shinya, saying his weapon handling was simply terrible. The party's hero had just laughed at their bickering, calling him an idiot. The martial king dismissed weapon skill, noting Maya's aptitude for martial arts wasn't bad. He had responded with a simple, determined acknowledgement to his master's words. The king's advice was simple. The point was just to try his best. It was simple advice, but it was exactly what he needed to hear. The martial king had known it was the right advice for him. In the present, Maya stands calmly amidst the swirling dust of battle. He was glad he followed his master's teachings, as Akane cries his name. Akane furiously asks what that was, yelling that not just anyone could do it. Her face contorts in terror as she sees the Oni preparing an attack. The Oni gathers a swirling vortex of demonic energy for a devastating breath attack. She can't believe it's still moving, warning him it's gathering immense power. The creature's single, malevolent eye glows as it focuses its destructive energy. With a monstrous roar, the Oni unleashes the torrent of annihilating energy. He remembers his time in the world's strongest party of heroes. The title bestowed upon him, there was not warrior, but guardian. This was the power the dropout exorcist had carved into his very being. Akane can only watch, whispering his name in confusion and fear. He calmly activates his ultimate defensive formation, a massive celestial seal. He acknowledges the creature's toughness as the blast prepares to connect. A wide, challenging grin spreads across his face, utterly without fear. He stands firm before the blast, daring the beast to break his shield. The shield holds strong, glowing brighter as it absorbs the immense energy. The amplified energy is hurled back, completely engulfing the shocked Oni. He coolly judges the result as not bad, an overwhelming display of power. Akane is left utterly speechless, unable to process what just happened. She asks what happened, wondering if the creature simply self-destructed. Maya calmly confirms her observation with a simple, yeah, and a smile. He walks away, explaining he just added a little extra power to the reflection. The smoldering remains of the Oni signify his complete and total victory. He looks back with a smirk, as if asking if it was effective. He confirms to himself that with this power, he can handle things. Akane demands to know how a bare-handed fighter could overwhelm a spirit armament user. But the battle isn't over. The Oni's eye twitches with dark energy. To their shock, the creature's shattered body begins to regenerate and mutate. Akane can't believe her eyes, stammering that it must be a lie. Maya notes something is wrong as it grows even stronger than before. Suddenly, a faint cracking sound emanates from the regenerating monster's body. Both Maya and Akane sense a sudden, unexpected shift in the creature's energy. The Oni's immense body begins to convulse violently as its power falters. Its single eye rolls back into its head as the regeneration reverses. It lets out a final, agonized roar as its form rapidly decays. The massive yokai shrinks before their eyes, its power vanishing into thin air. Akane watches in confusion as the Oni's body deflates and shrivels away. Maya notes that the immense demonic aura that filled the air is disappearing. Finally, the creature collapses to the ground, reduced to a weaker form. Its body completely dissolves, leaving nothing but splatters of dark energy behind. Akane comments that it's smaller than its original size, checking on Maya. A close-up reveals the purple jewel on its forehead is cracking apart. With a final flash of light, the malevolent jewel shatters into nothingness. She watches in shock as the jewel breaks, feeling a strange sensation. She feels the oppressive, demonic presence finally recede from the area completely. The last wisps of the Oni's physical form vanish into the air. Akane observes that it's over as it turns to dust, and Maya agrees. She turns to him, her expression serious, wanting to know what happened. Maya looks away, pondering the strange events that just transpired. He theorizes the jewel caused a forced power-up its body couldn't handle. Akane asks for clarification, wanting to know more about the mysterious jewel. He doesn't know, but recalls Ryuki saying it powered up 2 ranks. It was either an amplifier or a cursed tool that forced its evolution. But with no evidence left, he admits it's all just speculation now. The real question is if someone deliberately embedded that jewel into the Oni. She asks who would do such a thing, but Maya says there's no information. He concludes that whoever is behind this is dangerous, a massive threat. Akane agrees to report it to her father, while Maya considers his clan. He doubts anyone would believe him, then gets an idea with a smirk. He suggests they say Akane held it off until it self-destructed. Akane is furious, asking why she should steal the credit for his victory. She grabs his collar, demanding a proper explanation for his incredible power. Maya looks down nervously, taken aback by her sudden and intense fury. He tells her to calm down, promising to explain after they make their report. He points out that the Minakami clan didn't see him fight anyway. He gives a wry smile, as if asking if she thinks he planned this. Hino Akane explodes with fury, her sharp teeth bared in a defiant snarl. She passionately urges Maya to show everyone who mocked him his true, incredible strength. A small puff of steam escapes her lips as she realizes her overzealous outburst. Maya stands calmly amidst the rubble, apologizing that he has no intention of doing so. Akane chases after him, demanding to know why he isn't frustrated by it all. He smirks over his shoulder, asking if looking down on them would be cool. Flustered, Akane yells that it is only natural for everyone to know he's become strong. Maya stops, his back to her, and quietly tells her not to ask him about it. He turns with a sad smile, saying he didn't gain his power for a shareable reason. His thoughts drift to his past, a story too strange and unbelievable to be told. A flashback shows him roaring in battle, recalling the power he forged in another world. He remembers returning from the demon lord's defeat, 5 years of war compressed into moments. He tells Akane that if he told her such a pitiful story, even she would look away. Turning away, he dismisses it, promising to explain later. Akane accuses him of being difficult. The wind rustles through the trees on the quiet mountaintop. Maya's demeanor suddenly sharpens as he tells Akane he is releasing the barrier. His eyes narrow with intense focus. He reveals that they are currently being watched. Akane is shocked. Maya explains that he used the barrier to find their hidden observer. Akane sees an opportunity to capture them, but Maya knows it will be difficult. He senses the Watcher is a professional, skilled at concealing their spiritual presence. Akane asks with concern if even Maya will be unable to handle this hidden threat. Maya holds a hand to his face, admitting his own senses are almost too sharp. He concludes there are too many variables, and it's a shame to let them escape. Standing decisively, he announces their plan. They will pretend not to notice their observer. Akane understands that revealing Maya's true strength here would be a grave mistake. Maya agrees, deciding to place a protective talisman on her just as a precaution. The talisman glows as he places it on her, explaining its concealment art will hide her. His gaze remains fixed and serious as he prepares their ruse. Akane sweats, flustered, admitting his advanced skills make her doubt he is really Maya. A slight smirk crosses his face as he offers to tell her a different story. He recounts embarrassing childhood memories, causing Akane to erupt in panic denial. She continues yelling, now completely certain that he is, without a doubt, the real Maya. He walks away, stating that more than anything else, it was all just a hunch. A gentle breeze blows over the trees as the unseen Watcher finally retreats. Maya and Akane stand alone on the rocky peak, the immediate danger now past. Akane looks at him, a bead of sweat on her cheek, still trying to process everything. Maya gazes into the distance, his expression thoughtful and serious. A few leaves, or perhaps feathers, drift down from the sky. Maya looks up, confirming to himself that their mysterious observer seems to have left. Akane lets out a huge sigh of relief, slumping over in exhaustion. Maya turns to depart, apologizing for all the trouble he has caused her. A flashback shows his armored self, smirking with the knowledge that he has work to do. The scene shifts to a clandestine meeting where the events are being recounted. A fox-masked girl reports that the Minakami clan was useless against the Akasumioni. A large frog yokai chuckles, recalling that the Minakami heir was called a genius. The frog dismisses the Hino girl's victory, suspecting the Oni simply self-destructed. This is the Hakuren-do, the White Lotus Hall, where the powerful Hashigugi Council convenes. The frog yokai confirms that this ancient hall is indeed their secret meeting place. The fox girl notes some observers did nothing, prompting the frog to ask about the Hashimori. A shadowy figure holding a cat dismisses the Hashimori dropout, having never expected anything. The frog laughs, noting the 6 houses are merciless even to their own children. The cat avatar declares they should proceed, as the council members use Shikigami as proxies. In the empty hall, a voice asks about the enemy's identity and ultimate goal. The council members wonder if a new power has emerged, or if this is karmic retribution. A rabbit-like avatar states that challenging the 6 houses' seals is an open provocation. A rat-like familiar suggests their lack of information may be part of the enemy's plan. A sleeping fox avatar thinks that the enemy's provocation is also an opportunity for them. A snake avatar declares that they must not cede the initiative to this new foe. The fox avatar awakens with a howl, stating they will not be toyed with. A disembodied voice declares that as exorcists, they're the ones who command yokai. The scene fades to a starry night sky, a quiet interlude before the reveal. The camera pans down through the dark, rustling leaves of a dense forest. The view continues downward, past tree branches and towards the ground. An old, dilapidated church, overgrown with vines, is revealed in a clearing. Inside, the silver-haired man listens to a report, acknowledging that he understands. He reflects on his observation, noting a powerful barrier was deployed during the fight. His subordinate, Jinga, reports on the Oni's power-up and the barrier's subsequent disappearance. Jinga concludes the Oni's body couldn't handle the rapid change and self-destructed. A narrow panel shows a single, slitted, inhuman eye watching from the shadows. Jinga bows deeply, apologizing for his uncertain report and accepting any punishment. His master states that while the process was unclear, the result was within expectations. Jinga adds that with enough time, adapting the Oni's body would not be difficult. The man agrees with a slight smile, deciding that the experiment will continue. Sitting on a pew, he asks Jinga to report on the exorcists who were present. Jinga recounts that the Minakami heir was there, but his men were killed instantly. He continues, describing another combatant, a girl from a Hino clan with a flame weapon. The man's eyes narrow at the mention of the Hino, and he asks about the last person. Jinga describes the third as a boy with strangely, almost unnaturally, low spiritual power. The silver-haired man considers this new information, his expression thoughtful. He dismisses the boy as a trivial matter, not worth his concern for now. He clenches his fist, realizing he acted too hastily, alerting 2 of the 6 houses. Looking at a grotesque crucifix, he muses that cooperation between the clans is impossible anyway. He scoffs at the idea of the powerful Hashimori clan head getting involved so rashly. He admits that fighting the current Hashimori would be dangerous even for him. Jinga is shocked, thinking of the legendary strength of the Hashimori, the strongest clan. He cannot believe that his powerful master would show such caution. His master concludes that the chance of the Hashimori's dropout son being involved is 0. He stands before the crucifix, vowing to drag the proud 6 houses from their pinnacle. His eyes are wide and crazed, alight with the fire of his vengeful mission. His expression hardens as he resolves not to underestimate his hated enemies. He tells Jinga to be ready, for the time to declare war is fast approaching. His face twists in a hateful snarl as he vows to cast them into hell. The target of his vengeance is revealed, the exorcist Kyugoku Nagisa. A day has passed since the battle with the Oni, and the scene shifts to the city. Akane walks with Maya and Ryuki, complaining loudly about their lack of manners. Ryuki protests that he offered his thanks, but Akane explodes, furious at his attitude. Maya looks on, exhausted, as Akane complains about their mission being interrupted. He calmly states that it's fine, since he was the one who healed them anyway. Akane borrows his jacket and strikes a pose, declaring she will treat him to a meal. She leans in close, teasingly imagining what would happen if he revealed his true power. Akane, beaming with pride, thinks about how cool Maya was. She triumphantly offers to treat him to anything as a reward. Maya seriously requests high-quality sushi, not the cheap conveyor belt kind. Akane smiles serenely, not yet grasping the financial implications. Her confidence deflates as they arrive at a very pricey restaurant. She panics, explaining she's just a student on a tight allowance. Maya's teasing expression suddenly shifts, noticing an unexpected presence. They stand before the elegant entrance of the traditional sushi establishment. Inside, Akane sits with her cheeks puffed out, her mood soured. She loudly demands an explanation for this tense, awkward situation. Maya sheepishly explains that Nagisa insisted on treating him as thanks. Nagisa politely states she is here to repay him for saving her life. Akane's eye twitches with anger, instantly identifying a new rival. Nagisa introduces herself, and Akane recognizes the prestigious Kyugoku name. A surge of jealousy floods Akane, as she declares Nagisa an enemy. A chibi Nagisa smugly belittles Akane for her large chest. Maya playfully teases Akane for her rudeness over expensive sushi. Nagisa chimes in, stating she planned to approach Maya today anyway. Akane is shocked, realizing her plan to learn his secrets is threatened. Maya confirms that a similar incident occurred with Nagisa yesterday. Nagisa is surprised to hear he was in another major battle so soon. She admits he saved her life and even gave her a powerful talisman. Maya flinches slightly, knowing this reveal will only cause more trouble. Akane mockingly asks if a mighty Kyogoku needed a mere talisman. Nagisa calmly confirms it's true, adding she's kept it secret. Akane flails, declaring they're the same since they were both saved. Nagisa suggests this shared secret makes them comrades in a way. She states she knows the faces and names of all the 6 houses. Maya dryly points out that Akane clearly does not share this knowledge. He teases that this is Akane's usual prideful, ignorant reaction. Enraged by his comment, Akane lands a swift punch on Maya. Nagisa watches the chaotic scuffle with a small, knowing smile. A bandaged Maya admits that he didn't know about her, either. Nagisa explains her special circumstances keep her out of the public eye. Maya listens quietly as she outlines her unique position in her clan. Nagisa then turns her sharp gaze back toward Akane's presence. Akane defensively demands to know what she means by that look. Nagisa finds it strange that a powerful Hino would be with him. Akane proudly retorts that she knows Maya is a capable person. Maya mutters he was forced, but Akane shouts him down furiously. She points aggressively, declaring her business with Maya is her own. The 2 girls are now face to face, shouting insults at each other. Maya looks up from the table and quietly tells them both to stop. Thoroughly chastened, both girls bow their heads and apologize. Nagisa mutters about Akane getting so worked up over nothing. The waitress arrives with their food, asking if they are ready. Maya remarks on how strange it is that they all met this way. Nagisa admits she was wondering how to find him to thank him. Maya thinks their reunion feels fated, but he won't tell her that. Nagisa's eyes seem to sparkle with a determined, focused light. He tells her that getting involved with him is just a hassle. Akane warns Nagisa that associating with a dropout is a bad idea. Nagisa clenches her fist, preparing to make her counterargument. Akane declares that she has her father's permission to be there. Maya is surprised her father would allow such a thing. He takes a bite of sushi and is immediately overcome with emotion. Akane smugly thinks this will advance her growth project for Maya. A memory flashes of sharing a meal with comrades in the other world. He smiles wistfully, remembering the simple food and good company. Nagisa is pleased, glad he is enjoying the meal she offered. She then brings up the subject of exchanging contact information. She feels it's unfair that only Akane has his phone number. She wants to connect with him as an individual, not as a Kyogoku. She declares her sincere desire to build a friendly relationship. Akane is flabbergasted, accusing her of trying to use Maya. Nagisa's expression hardens as she prepares a sharp rebuttal. She coolly asks Akane if she isn't doing the very same thing. She points out that Maya was practically forced into this situation. She tells Akane to reflect on herself before judging others. Akane erupts in a furious, incoherent shout of pure protest. Maya's voice cuts through the argument, telling them that's enough. Akane is stunned into silence by his immense spiritual pressure. Nagisa is equally shocked, her eyes wide with disbelief and fear. Maya smiles slightly, his quiet authority completely re-established. He says their fighting is an annoyance to the restaurant's customers. Akane trembles, wondering about the immense pressure she just felt. Nagisa is terrified, unable to believe this power belongs to a dropout. Maya enjoys another piece of sushi, breaking the heavy tension. Akane grits her teeth, knowing she can't afford to anger him again. Nagisa agrees to stop arguing, though she still has more to say. Maya sighs, wondering why the two are so intensely competitive. He clarifies that he is not being used or manipulated by Akane. Nagisa excitedly asks if it's okay to exchange numbers now. She beams with a brilliant, happy smile, thanking him profusely. She promises to contact him later to thank him properly again. She insists that this simple meal is not enough to repay her debt. Maya thinks to himself that she is being far too formal. Akane eats her own sushi, silently watching the entire exchange. Nagisa notices that Akane's school uniform is not from this area. Akane proudly announces that she and Maya live in the same town. A dark aura surrounds Maya, realizing their personalities are incompatible. Suddenly, his senses are flooded by a powerful, malevolent energy. Both girls are shocked, instantly recognizing the yokai presence. Nagisa quickly analyzes the situation, sensing a deliberate disturbance. She tells the others to wait there while she goes to investigate. Akane fiercely retorts that she won't stand by when her town is threatened. Maya agrees with a grim smile, already pulling on his gloves. Seeing their resolve, Nagisa's face breaks into a happy smile. Maya stands with Akane, a new and temporary alliance now formed. Nagisa stands ready, declaring that they will all go together. A man is sent flying with a brutal roar, crashing into a pile of trash. The spiky-haired victor, Yatsushiro, gazes down with fierce, triumphant eyes. He confirms his bloody tally, having just defeated his 100th opponent. A savage grin spreads across his face, a testament to his brutal efficiency. He lands softly before a man, lounging on a sofa in the derelict building. A shower of confetti-like paper flutters down from above. The lounging man, Mizuchi, applauds the display of violence with a laugh. He cheers that Yatsushiro is the best, noting they're close to their quota. Yatsushiro grits his teeth, his face a mask of pure irritation. He furiously tells his boss, Mizuchi Kyoji, to get up and fight himself. Mizuchi waves a dismissive hand, claiming he is only there in a support role. Mizuchi's condescending words fuel Yatsushiro's burning desire to kill him. But Mizuchi leans in, his expression turning sly and dangerous. He suggests that for a sacrifice, a cute girl would be far more gorgeous. Yatsushiro's eye twitches, barely processing the depraved suggestion. Mizuchi's eyes gleam, believing a girl's face twisted in despair is the ultimate sight. He continues, finding the sound of their desperate, sobbing pleas to be thrilling. Yatsushiro looks down, quietly telling the sadist to shut his mouth. Mizuchi ignores him, continuing his gleeful, twisted monologue. He mockingly asks if Yatsushiro is angry, suggesting they play with a girl together. Yatsushiro's rage erupts as he smashes his fist into the concrete floor. The ground cracks beneath his knuckles as he reminds Mizuchi that he was warned. Mizuchi simply looks on, his interest piqued by the outburst. Yatsushiro, for all his brutality, has a clear purpose and a cold, unwavering will. At his core, he is a passionate man, easily provoked by Mizuchi's taunts. Mizuchi continues his thought, his sinister smile returning to his face. The confrontation between Yatsushiro and Mizuchi is set to begin. Mizuchi points out the hypocrisy in Yatsushiro's morality. Yatsushiro snarls that he understands, but at least his victims are criminals. They are thugs who reaped what they sowed, getting what they deserved. Mizuchi cackles, agreeing that a clear conscience is best, boasting of his own cruelty. Yatsushiro calls him scum, questioning his choice of victims. Yatsushiro can only grimace in disgust at his companion's depravity. He stands amidst the carnage, his internal conflict raging. Mizuchi simply watches him, an unreadable, knowing smile on his face. Yatsushiro's gaze is filled with a cold, hardened resolve. Mizuchi muses on his subordinate's frozen will with a sinister chuckle. He decides it's time to get to his own work, an order from his boss. He reveals his precious Tsuchigumo were killed, and a certain girl needs punishment. He dramatically mourns the happy family life his monster spiders should have had. Yatsushiro calls him an idiot, disgusted by his fake sentimentality. Mizuchi explains the girl who killed his pets was from the Kyugoku clan. He knows his boss's hatred for the Kyugoku is immense and unforgiving. He almost feels sorry for anyone who falls into his boss's cruel hands. He cheerfully invites Yatsushiro to come along, promising it will be fun. Yatsushiro refuses, warning that messing with the Kyugoku will bring trouble. Mizuchi laughs, boasting that it's not a crime if you don't get caught. He plans to use a runaway student, as their disappearance will go unnoticed. He assures Yatsushiro that his pets will continue to keep an eye on him. Yatsushiro, hearing this, grimly decides he has to go along after all. Mizuchi is thrilled, while Yatsushiro resolves to stop him from harming innocents. Mizuchi turns to the fallen thugs, ready to process them as sacrifices. Yatsushiro clenches his fist, vowing to save someone, no matter the cost. He will succeed, even if it means the utter destruction of his own body. Elsewhere, a young woman's determined eyes scan the horizon. Kyugoku Nagisa confirms to Maya and Akane that they have arrived at the location. Maya looks out over the empty playground, confirming it is indeed a park. Nagisa notes that the powerful demonic aura has stopped moving. Akane agrees, finding it strange that the presence has become so calm. Nagisa deduces that an upper-rank yokai would only appear here intentionally. She has already erected a barrier, preventing anyone from wandering inside. Akane questions if Nagisa's power is enough to cover the entire park. Nagisa insists her top priority is preventing civilian casualties and a yokai's escape. As Akane agrees, Maya senses their enemy's arrival, announcing that it's here. He stands ready as a powerful, malevolent presence fills the air. A grotesque fusion of skeleton and spider, an Oiran Gummo, erupts before them. Its four-eyed skull lets out a silent, horrifying scream. Nagisa is shocked to see such a creature in a residential area. She takes command, ordering the others back as she prepares to manifest her weapon. A burst of spiritual energy flares around her. Akane watches, her eyes wide with surprise and competitive spirit. She summons her own spirit armament, refusing to be left behind. Nagisa realizes with a start that Akane is a spirit armament user. Akane steps forward, declaring she will earn her keep for the sushi they ate. She charges, calling upon the power of her fiery spear, Shure. She brings her weapon down in a powerful strike against the monstrous yokai. Nagisa follows up instantly, her own attack a blur of deadly precision. Her blade flashes, cleanly severing one of the creature's massive limbs. Akane glares, annoyed that Nagisa's attack seemed more effective. She gathers her power, preparing to unleash a torrent of flame. The Oiran Gummo is engulfed in a searing blast from Akane's attack. Akane taunts the creature, calling it slow as it reels from the blow. She unleashes another fireball, a signature technique of the Hino style. Nagisa watches in awe, impressed by the raw power of the flame arts. The monster's skeletal frame is blackened and scorched by the intense heat. Nagisa notes that Akane is more than holding her own against the upper-rank yokai. Maya smirks, commenting that this creature is nothing compared to the Oni. The Oiran Gummo turns its empty eye sockets towards him, its attention fixed. Maya notices the creature keeps glancing at him with unsettling focus. Nagisa explains the grim lore of the Oiran Gummo, a female who preys on men. She continues, stating it consumes them to birth its young from their resentment. Maya listens, a flicker of understanding and disgust on his face. Akane senses the dark shift in his mood. She urges him to finish the creature quickly, her voice sharp with concern. The Oiran Gummo lunges, its mind set on stealing Maya's life force. Akane intercepts it with a roar, declaring that she is its opponent. The yokai is furious, seeing the female exorcist as a mere nuisance. Akane channels her power, preparing her ultimate technique, the Rika Shinmyu. She unleashes the Girin Hobu, a crimson dance of destructive flame. Her attack connects in a storm of fire and steel, completely annihilating the yokai. The Oirangumo shrieks, its skeletal body engulfed in Akane's purifying flames. Nagisa stares in awe at the display, while Maya observes coolly. Akane stands victorious, her fiery spear resting by her side. She gives a confident wink, asking how they liked her performance. Nagisa, impressed, acknowledges this as the true power of the Hino clan. Akane proudly boasts that their clan is the strongest in destructive force. She stretches, relieved, saying it's best to let loose when irritated. Nagisa offers to treat them all to some devilishly good sushi again. Maya brightly teases Akane for being so stubborn about not wanting to eat. His playful smile vanishes as he senses a new, unseen presence. Maya's expression hardens into one of intense focus as he scans the park. Akane notices his shift in mood, calling out his name, Shinya. Nagisa feels a sudden chill, realizing with dread that something is wrong. From the shadows, Mizuchi Kyoji appears, offering a casual good evening. Akane reacts instantly, demanding to know the identity of the newcomer. Mizuchi ignores her question, smiling as he comments on the lovely night. Nagisa realizes with horror that he must have been watching them fight. Mizuchi praises Akane's impressive flame arts with a condescending air. He notes that she must be a skilled exorcist to wield a spirit armament. He expresses his mock surprise at how easily she killed his Oirangumo. He laughs softly, asking why they seem so tense all of a sudden. Both Akane and Nagisa are frozen, captivated by his unsettling aura. Akane mentally curses herself for getting drawn into his strange presence. Nagisa is equally paralyzed, unnerved by the man's mysterious demeanor. A panel shows Maya's leg as he steps forward to intervene. Maya moves in front of the girls, confronting the blonde man directly. He coolly states he didn't realize Mizuchi had brought a companion along. Mizuchi replies that he, too, has no interest in men. He asks them plainly if they intend to be his enemies. Maya looks past him, asking about the other person hiding in the darkness. Yatsushiro steps out from the trees, surprised to have been noticed. He is impressed by Maya's skill in seeing through his concealment art. Akane is shocked, admitting she didn't sense his presence at all. Maya explains that a life of battle has sharpened his senses. Mizuchi grins, recognizing Maya's palpable killing intent as the real thing. He playfully apologizes to Yakin for the failure of their pet yokai. Yatsushiro explodes with rage, warning him not to use his name so casually. Mizuchi taunts him, asking if he's finally ready to get serious. Maya watches them argue, noting their dynamic is not one of master and subordinate. Mizuchi declares his intention to take the girls, angering Yatsushiro. Yatsushiro protests, but their argument is cut short as Maya charges forward. Mizuchi snaps his fingers with a smile, calmly saying, "Let's begin." With a deafening crack, the very air shatters around the exorcists. Nagisa cries out in shock as her barrier is destroyed and replaced. Mizuchi mockingly explains this new barrier will slowly drain their power. Akane screams in defiance, vowing to smash right through his trap. Mizuchi watches her futile attempt with a wide, sadistic grin. From fissures in the ground, a horrifying swarm of spiders erupts. With arms spread wide, Mizuchi commands his arachnid army to attack. The trio finds themselves hopelessly surrounded by a sea of monstrous yokai. Akane and Nagisa stare in disbelief at the impossible number of creatures. Nagisa's face is pale with the grim recognition of their foe. She identifies the horde as the same Tsuchigumo she fought before. The nightmarish army of spiders surges forward, a tide of clicking legs. A close-up shows one of the hissing, multi-eyed arachnid horrors. Mizuchi threatens to unleash the swarm on the city if they resist. Akane grits her teeth, her face a mask of pure, unadulterated fury. Maya stands firm between the two girls, his expression grimly determined. Mizuchi purrs that the girls won't be killed, but become his new toys. He laments that his previous pet was sadly killed by these yokai. From the side, Maya's quiet voice cuts in, telling him to shut up. He tells the girls they can't fight properly while so tense. Nagisa protests, saying it's no time for his strange attempts at humor. Maya acknowledges that this is, without a doubt, the worst situation. He looks up towards the sky, his expression calm and resolute. A close-up focuses on Maya's determined eye. His mind flashes back to the apocalyptic armies of the Demon Lord. Facing the yokai swarm, he thinks this is nothing like that day. Akane is confused, questioning Nagisa's sudden faith in Maya. Maya announces that he will play along with Mizuchi's little game. He tells Akane not to worry. She can handle this, though it'll be tough. Nagisa explains that Maya's unexpected strength creates opportunities. Akane is flustered by Maya's strange humor in such a dire situation. He tells them both to laugh, as it will help ease their tension. Akane and Nagisa stand ready, their resolve bolstered by his confidence. Mizuchi taunts them, pointing out their overwhelmingly disadvantageous position. He leans forward, asking if they truly understand their hopeless predicament. Maya calmly counters that he will simply erect a barrier of his own. Mizuchi's eyes widen in manic glee, daring Maya to try and overwrite his barrier. Maya affirms that he can, stating that his preparations are already complete. A bead of sweat runs down Maya's face as he focuses his power. Mizuchi shouts in disbelief, "What?" as the air begins to crackle. Akane and Nagisa look on with expressions of pure, unadulterated shock. Mizuchi's sinister barrier of insects shatters into a million pieces. The girls stand amidst the cascading shards of the broken barrier. Yatsushiro looks up from the ground, stunned by this impossible feat. A massive dome of golden light erupts, enclosing the entire city block. The radiant barrier solidifies, trapping villains and heroes alike inside. Maya declares that all that remains is the complete annihilation of his foes. One of his intricate, otherworldly talismans glows with immense power. Mizuchi is left utterly speechless, his mouth hanging open in shock. Akane is impressed, but worries if he used too much spiritual power. Maya turns and gives her a confident thumbs up, saying it's no problem. He then turns to Nagisa, asking if she is still able to fight. Nagisa apologizes, stunned that he possessed such an incredible technique. Akane admits that she only found out about his true power yesterday. Nagisa is flabbergasted, while a chibi Akane comically flails in protest. A small panel shows Nagisa accepting Akane's unbelievable admission. Maya tells his enemies they are free to run, but he won't let them. Mizuchi's face twists in rage, promising Maya he won't die an easy death. With a predatory grin, Maya dismisses his foe's threats. Mizuchi shrieks with glee, ordering his insectoid yokai to attack. The three exorcists charge forward as one into the chittering horde. Maya leads the assault, his face set in a confident smirk. Their coordinated attack begins with a blur of overwhelming speed. Akane, Maya, and Nagisa fight back-to-back against the monstrous spiders. Akane leaps into the air, bringing her flaming spear crashing down. The park becomes a chaotic battlefield of yokai and spiritual energy. Explosions of power light up the dark and desperate scene. The grotesque, multi-eyed Tsuchigumo swarm relentlessly toward them. Nagisa moves through the battle with swift and precise footwork. Her flashing blade finds its mark, slicing through a yokai's armor. With a fierce cry, she unleashes her powerful Rika sword technique. A determined grin crosses her face as she executes the six-fold slash. The spider yokai dissolves into nothingness under the force of her attack. The immense effort leaves her panting, sweat beading on her brow. Nearby, Akane continues her own fiery and explosive assault. She offers a grudging compliment, admitting Nagisa's skill is impressive. But Nagisa's legs tremble, the strain of the battle taking its toll. She knows her stamina is fading, holding on only because of Maya. Maya brutally kicks a massive Tsuchigumo directly in its fang maw. He is a whirlwind of destruction, systematically eliminating the biggest threats. Nagisa watches in awe, stunned by his incredible power and tactics. She resolves that she cannot be the one to drag him down. With renewed determination, she plants her foot to re-engage the enemy. The three warriors continue their desperate struggle against the endless swarm. Maya notes that the sheer number of enemies is becoming a problem. Yatsushiro watches from the sidelines, utterly bewildered by Maya's strength. He screams in rage, unable to believe his yokai are being destroyed barehanded. Maya turns his cold gaze on him, deciding to crush him first. Yatsushiro is shocked by the direct and murderous threat. Maya lunges, his punch narrowly missing Yatsushiro, but obliterating yokai. He clicks his tongue in annoyance, noting that his target dodged. Yatsushiro is furious that Maya would dare aim for his beautiful face. His anger turns to anguish as he mourns his favorite fallen monster. Maya, bored, says he just wants to go home and relax. He declares he will end this by crushing Yatsushiro's face. Mizuchi gleefully suggests that Yatsushiro help him fight Maya. Yatsushiro agrees, finding the idea of a 2-on-1 fight interesting. Maya decides he will simply take on both villains at once. Mizuchi is ecstatic at the prospect of killing Maya together. Yatsushiro accepts the challenge, though he'd have preferred a stealthier approach. Mizuchi declares that it is finally time for him to get serious. Maya continues to taunt him, calling him a pathetic small fry. Mizuchi laughs maniacally as flames of sinister power engulf his form. The transformation is a spectacular and terrifying sight to behold. His true form is revealed, a monstrous tiger-striped gyuki. Maya is surprised, realizing his opponent wasn't even human. The gyuki triumphantly announces its true nature with a monstrous roar. Nagisa identifies the creature as a rare and powerful gyuki. Akane screams in disbelief that they now face a special rank threat. Nagisa knows she cannot face it alone and calls to regroup. Maya confidently tells the girls not to worry and to handle the minions. The gyuki roars, enraged that Maya would dare underestimate its power. Maya's eye narrows, perfectly calm in the face of the colossal attack. He blocks the massive blow, the impact cratering the ground around him. Nagisa screams his name in terror, fearing the worst for him. Distracted, she is ambushed by a Tsuchigumo from her blind spot. She desperately summons her Shikigami, a fiery armored rat, to defend her. The Shikigami intercepts the yokai's claws just in the nick of time. Seizing the opening, she prepares to unleash a powerful counterattack. She executes the Ryuka Senkyugeki, a devastating piercing technique. She lands, panting with relief, acknowledging it was a close call. The Tsuchigumo is completely obliterated in a blast of spiritual energy. Nearby, Akane continues her own fierce battle against the swarming yokai. Akane yells at Nagisa for losing her focus during the fight. She tells Nagisa to trust Maya and concentrate on the insects. Nagisa agrees, but a wave of shame washes over her face. Even the powerful Akane is momentarily startled by a lunging yokai. She quickly recovers, destroying the creature with a powerful spear thrust. Nagisa watches Akane's effortless power with a sense of awe. Akane fights like a true war maiden, a master of her clan. Nagisa is filled with shame, feeling utterly worthless in comparison. She admits her feelings of inferiority and jealousy are a terrible habit. She knows she shouldn't be thinking these thoughts during a battle. Her eyes reflect the deep inner turmoil and conflict she feels. She reflects on her past pride in her own strength. She confronts the truth. She can't use a spirit armament like Akane. She knows better than anyone just how weak she truly is. The gap between herself and the others feels utterly insurmountable. She feels pathetic, always needing to be saved by others. A memory surfaces of her as a small child, crying all alone. Tears streamed down her face, her small fists clenched in sorrow. A young Maya had appeared before her then, a figure of light. She had looked up at him, her tear-filled eyes wide with surprise. He held out his hand, offering her comfort and a way forward. In the present, her eyes blaze with a new, fierce resolve. She pulls out a powerful paper talisman, her final option. She thrusts the glowing talisman towards an attacking Tsuchigumo. It explodes in a massive blast of purifying spiritual energy. She declares she can no longer face Maya as a weakling. The Gyuki lunges at Maya with ferocious, overwhelming power. The monster roars for Maya to hurry up and die. Maya coolly retorts that the Gyuki will be the one dying. He dodges and delivers a powerful, spinning kick to its head. The Gyuki is stunned by his incredible speed and strength. Akane watches the high-speed battle, calling out Maya's name in concern. She is amazed he can fight a disaster-class foe in close combat. Nagisa notes the Gyuki's unbelievable agility and dangerous nature. She warns that its aura alone exposes one to poison and curses. Hashimori Maya confronts the hulking Gyuki, a confirmed special rank yokai. Nagisa watches in terror, believing he cannot face such a powerful creature alone. Maya's expression is calm and focused, his gaze locked on the monstrous beast. The Gyuki snarls with rage, vowing to kill the insolent human before it. A thin, shimmering barrier of spiritual energy envelopes Maya, deflecting all attacks. The Gyuki is stunned, realizing its attacks are completely ineffective against him. It roars in disbelief, questioning how a mere human can possess such power. Maya easily flips backward, dodging a ground-shattering blow from the enraged beast. The Gyuki screams in pure frustration as its powerful attack misses its mark. Its monstrous body seems to bubble and reform, a sign of its mounting fury. Maya taunts the creature, asking if its handsome face is from its homeland. The Gyuki roars, unable to comprehend why its devastating attacks cannot connect. Maya smirks, thinking this is nothing compared to the battles he has already faced. He recalls his old master, the martial king, whose attacks were far deadlier. The Gyuki realizes its opponent isn't just fast. His movements are too predictable. A sudden flash of light signals the arrival of a new combatant. A cold voice apologizes for the wait, interrupting the intense duel. Yatsushiro emerges, finding the one-on-one battle tiresome and uninteresting. The Gyuki lets out a small sound of surprise at the sudden interruption. Maya is suddenly encased in jagged pillars of ice, a powerful spiritual art. Yatsushiro mockingly suggests a one-on-one fight would be disadvantageous for Maya. Maya coolly accepts the two-on-one challenge, identifying Yatsushiro as an ice user. Yatsushiro demands to know Maya's identity and which exorcist house he belongs to. He then dismisses his own question, stating that neither of them can answer. He moves past the pleasantries, asking if this is all Maya is capable of. Yatsushiro begins his incantation, commanding his Shikigami to heed his voice. He summons a pack of spectral ice wolves, naming them the Inugami Goga. An ethereal ice wolf lunges forward, a blur of white fur and sharp fangs. Another wolf joins the fray, its spectral form radiating a chilling energy. Yatsushiro commands his demonic pack from absolute zero to devour their prey. Maya dodges the initial assault, narrowly avoiding the snapping jaws of the wolves. Yatsushiro taunts him, asking why he is coming at him like that. He tells Maya that not to be so uptight, clearly enjoying the chaotic battle. He unleashes a barrage of ice blades, his Haihu Resundan technique. The ice shards explode on the ground, narrowly missing their nimble target. Yatsushiro gives the command for his spectral pack to devour Maya. He declares with a manic grin that he will see it done. Maya leaps through the air, completely surrounded by the relentless ice wolves. He notes with a smirk that they are focusing all their attacks on him. He throws a talisman into the air, creating a diversion to break their formation. The wolves are momentarily confused, their coordinated attack pattern disrupted. Maya lands a powerful kick, shattering one of the ice wolves into pieces. Akane shouts a warning, noting the dangerous timing of the wolves' attacks. Maya analyzes their strategy, decoys coupled with an attack from his blind spot. He clenches his fist, realizing he must not be forgotten in the chaos. He unleashes a defensive art, Genbu Hyokujutsu, to block the pincer attack. With his other fist, he uses Kongu Kadaki to shatter another attacking wolf. He lands on a shard of ice, now facing a stunned Yatsushiro. Maya offers a grudging compliment, admitting that his opponent is quite skilled. Yatsushiro is visibly shaken, his confidence wavering as he calls Maya a monster. He wonders how he can possibly win if Maya can dodge every attack. Maya simply agrees with a confident, knowing smirk on his face. The Gyuki sees its chance and prepares to unleash its ultimate attack. It lets out a triumphant roar, believing it has finally cornered its prey. Yatsushiro realizes with horror that the Gyuki had been lying in wait. The Gyuki is certain that as long as its poison tail connects, it will win. Maya watches the attack approach, his expression completely unreadable and calm. The Gyuki unleashes Poison Curse, Death Curse, a wave of annihilating energy. Nagisa screams Maya's name, her face a mask of absolute terror. Akane also cries out in fear as the deadly attack engulfs him completely. The Gyuki gloats, telling Maya he was a fool to underestimate its power. Maya stands unharmed, uttering a single word of disdain, disgusting. The deadly curse dissipates harmlessly around him, leaving him completely untouched. The Gyuki's body begins to dissolve and reform in sheer, utter shock. Maya's eyes narrow, his focus now absolute and deadly. He is surrounded by a faint, powerful aura as the wolves reform around him. He flips through the air, dodging another coordinated assault from the pack. The Gyuki is horrified, unable to comprehend how it could lose to a human. Yatsushiro panics, realizing Maya one-shot an Oni and is immune to his ice. He understands that no matter how strong the barrier, it should have a limit. Maya's jacket is wreathed in the faint, swirling energy of his immense power. Yatsushiro realizes the barrier isn't just strong, it nullifies all spiritual effects. Maya looks down, acknowledging that this is the result of picking a fight with him. Yatsushiro is utterly terrified, realizing his opponent is a true, genuine monster. Maya states with cold finality that he has no intention of letting them escape. Akane, her clothes torn, vows that she and Nagisa will finish them. Nagisa agrees, declaring that they will destroy their enemies here and now. Maya's eyes narrow, his expression hardening with a grim resolve. He prepares to unleash his full, unrestrained power upon his enemies. He thinks about the situation, his hands open as he contemplates his next move. His hands slowly begin to clench into tight, determined fists. He prepares to act, his thoughts focused on what must be done. He thinks to himself, acknowledging his own power and what it means. He knows that Yatsushiro has a desperate reason that he cannot afford to lose. His eyes are filled with a strange mixture of pity and resolve. The air grows heavy with the weight of his unspoken decision. He acknowledges that he, too, has a wish he is fighting to fulfill. He tells his opponent not to think ill of him for what comes next. His face is a mask of regret as he apologizes for what he must do. A silent apology hangs in the air, a moment of grim understanding. He grits his teeth, his apology sincere, but his actions unavoidable. A sharp, cracking sound echoes through the battlefield, drawing everyone's attention. The golden barrier above them begins to fracture and shatter. Maya looks up, his eyes wide with surprise, sensing the sudden change. Akane and Nagisa are thrown off balance, wondering what is happening. Nagisa confirms that the entire barrier is shaking violently around them. Yatsushiro looks up in terror, screaming, "What the hell is that?" Maya realizes with a start that a section of his barrier has been destroyed. Through a breach in the dome, two new figures appear in the distance. A figure wreathed in pure white light materializes, heralding a new, greater threat. Amidst the settling dust, a new figure emerges from the battlefield's chaos. His voice cuts through the silence, a low and dangerous purr. He confirms coming to investigate this powerful practitioner was the correct decision. A close-up reveals his impressed, calculating smile. Across the park, Hashimori Maya returns a sharp, predatory grin. Nagisa watches in horror as Maya's seemingly invincible barrier begins to shatter. Akane is stunned, but Nagisa realizes there is more to this than simple destruction. She explains another, even stronger barrier was erected on the outside. This new barrier was deployed specifically to contain and then crush Maya's. Maya's eyes narrow, his focus entirely on the new, overwhelming threat. The silver-haired man admits it took some effort to break the barrier. Maya offers a dismissive smirk, unimpressed by the boastful explanation. The man's eyes gleam with interest, studying his new opponent intently. Akane's eyes widen in sheer, unadulterated terror. Both she and Nagisa are paralyzed, understanding the impossible gap in their power. A suffocating demonic aura flares to life around the silver-haired man. Akane clutches her spear, her entire body racked with uncontrollable tremors. Nagisa feels the pressure not just on her body, but on her very soul. This new foe's power is on a level that transcends even special rank yokai. Yatsushiro can only stammer, recognizing the man as his boss. The monstrous Gyuki pants with relief, thankful to have been saved. Akane knows in her heart that it's hopeless. She despairs, realizing there is no chance they can win this fight. Maya silently notes the crushing effect this overwhelming power has on the girls. He surveys the battlefield, classifying this new enemy as at least superclass. He muses bitterly on how his hometown has become a demonic paradise. A wild, almost manic grin spreads across his face, embracing the curse. He faces the newcomer, asking if he is the main event. The man gestures grandly, wishing to introduce himself as Sirios. Maya is unimpressed, finding his theatrical entrance a tedious affair. Sirios retorts that those are his words regarding Maya's impressive barrier. He praises the magnificent barrier, wondering what exorcist could deploy it alone. Maya scoffs, asking if he came all this way just for compliments. Jinga, the subordinate, reacts to the insult with a flash of anger. He lunges forward, enraged that his master has been disrespected. His hand crackles with power as he moves to strike Maya down. Before he can land a blow, an invisible force hurls him backward. Akane and Nagisa feel the new wave of pressure, another special rank threat. Sirios calmly orders Jinga to stop, stating he cannot win against this opponent. Jinga's eye widens in shock and terror at his master's casual display of power. Sirios commands Jinga to cease his discourtesy at once. He steps forward, his hand in his pocket, stating he will handle this personally. He offers a slight bow, apologizing for his subordinate's rudeness. He explains that his two pets are valuable assets he cannot afford to lose. Maya smirks, asking if this means Sirios is his next opponent. Sirios agrees that's one way of looking at the situation. He states he has business to attend to and wishes to avoid pointless conflict. Mizuchi agrees, declaring that he and Yatsushiro are necessary for their plans. Sirios' gaze remains fixed on Maya, a silent assessment taking place. His intuition screams a clear warning. This boy is dangerous. He is unnerved by the fearless, indomitable power in Maya's eyes. He feels an unnerving quality to Maya, but dismisses it for now. Maya declares that he has no intention of letting them escape. Sirios acknowledges his point, but asks him to hear a proposal. He suggests a contract of non-interference, where they both leave peacefully. Maya calls the idea impossible, as he must deal with the lingering threat. Sirios concedes, noting their encounter feels fated, almost poetic. Maya agrees that their meeting was perhaps meant to be. From the sidelines, the girls are baffled by this strange, tense negotiation. Sirios takes a step forward, offering one final proposition. He asks if Maya would consider joining him, not as a subordinate. Maya grits his teeth, listening to the offer to team up. Akane and Nagisa stare in wide-eyed shock at the proposal. They cannot believe Sirios would offer to treat Maya as an equal. Sirios promises that if Maya cooperates, he will grant him anything he desires. Maya's expression hardens into one of absolute resolve. He clenches his fist, giving his simple, unwavering answer. He refuses. He states that he wouldn't join him even for half the world. He has no intention, he snarls, of teaming up with scum like them. Mizuchi is left aghast by the blunt, furious rejection. Sirio's expression shifts to one of cold, profound disappointment. Akane and Nagisa are stunned that he would refuse such a powerful offer. Jinga panics, unable to comprehend why his master's invitation was rejected. Sirios calmly accepts the decision, announcing that the battle will begin. However, he notes he has no intention of fighting him fairly. Maya looks up, sensing a sudden, imminent danger. A massive, complex magic circle erupts from the ground, trapping him. With a simple snap of his fingers, Sirios activates the spell. Maya recognizes the alien runes as a Western-style magic formation. A glint of triumph shines in Sirios' eye. He declares his victory as a pillar of light consumes Maya. Akane and Nagisa watch, helpless and horrified. Maya's eye widens in shock as he is torn from reality. The two girls scream his name in terror and despair. The brilliant column of light marks the spot where he vanished. The light shoots into the sky, then fades into nothing. Yatsushiro looks on, stunned by the sudden turn of events. Akane and Nagisa are left alone in the aftermath, realizing he is truly gone. Akane frantically asks what just happened to him. Jinga explains that Maya has been moved, along with the Gyuki, to the other world. Nagisa is stunned, realizing the teleportation was a form of magic. Jinga boasts of his master's power to freely cross the boundary between worlds. The girls look on, their faces masks of dawning horror. Jinga declares with cold certainty that Maya will not be coming back. Sirios, however, calmly states that Jinga's explanation is not quite right. Nagisa looks around wildly, the reality sinking in. Hashimori is gone. A close-up shows Sirio's thoughtful, serious expression. He admits that Maya forced him to use his ultimate move. Akane demands to know what he has done with Maya. Sirios looks on, calm and victorious, his primary threat now eliminated. Sirios reflects that the powerful boy, now banished, will not be able to return. Traversing the other world is not easy. It requires immense power and meticulous preparation. The monstrous Gyuki, however, looks on with a grimace of frustration. Sirios knows he cannot use that art again for a while, but it was worth it. Jinga questions his master's high praise for the young exorcist. Sirios advises against overconfidence, a folly one must never indulge in. With cold certainty, he declares that he is different from the fools of the six houses. Jinga bows, accepting his master's wisdom before turning his attention elsewhere. Mizuchi taunts Yatsushiro, suggesting they should have just ganged up on them. Jinga's hand slams down on Mizuchi's shoulder with punishing force. He furiously rebukes the yokai for its insolence, threatening to kill the bastard. Releasing his grip, Jinga orders the terrified Mizuchi to be more prudent. Nagisa and Akane look on in shock, realizing the fight is not over. A close-up on Sirio's eye reveals he, too, knows it has not ended. His powerful blade, Tsukabami, flashes through the air with a sharp clang. The two exorcists find themselves suddenly paralyzed, their bodies refusing to move. Sirios states that even with his power depleted, they are no match for him. Writhing tendrils of pure, dark energy snake across the ruined ground. The shadows erupt, ensnaring Akane and Nagisa in their suffocating grip. Yatsushiro identifies the technique as the snake of envy, which steals spiritual power. He watches silently as the girls are completely immobilized. He turns to his boss, Sirios, and asks what he plans to do with them. Sirios calmly considers the daughter of the Hino clan, and then his eyes widen, thinking of the daughter of the Kyogoku clan. A single tear traces a path down Nagisa's cheek. They realize their horrific fate, to become brood mothers, sacrifices, or subjects for assimilation research. Sirios confirms their high value as first-class exorcists with potent spiritual energy. Akane and Nagisa stare in wide-eyed horror, their worst fears made real. Yatsushiro remains silent, his expression unreadable. The Oirangumo's skeletal hand gestures with manic glee. Mizuchi begs to have one of the girls, not caring which one he gets. Yatsushiro snaps at him, telling the whimpering creature to be quiet. Mizuchi reverts to his Gyuki form, complaining about his battered body. Yatsushiro scoffs at the Gyuki's tattered state, calling its transformation disgusting. The Gyuki declares that consuming a powerful exorcist girl is the ultimate way to recover. He drools, fantasizing about all the things he will do before finally eating them. He will torture them with poison and tentacles, feeding on their terror and despair. The girls are frozen in absolute horror at his sadistic monologue. Mizuchi cackles, loving the terrified expressions on their faces. He continues to gloat, savoring their fear. In a moment of pure, shattering hopelessness, their spirits seem to break. Mizuchi leans in, offering to teach them the true meaning of despair. His first lesson, he declares, will be about their utter humiliation. He transforms into a monstrous mass of shadows, promising to slowly introduce them to absolute despair. He lunges for Nagisa, eager to defile her with his curse. He breathes heavily, planning to devour them after watching their faces twist in agony. He sadistically reassures Nagisa that while the pain will be immense, he won't let her die. He muses that even as just living heads, the girls would still be entertaining. Yatsushiro tries to stop him, but Mizuchi preaches of salvation beyond suffering. Yatsushiro roars that he won't let the damn Gyuki do as it pleases. Mizuchi introduces himself by name, telling Yatsushiro the girls are waiting for his torture. Yatsushiro can only stare in disbelief and rage. Sirios steps between them, declaring that is enough. He will take charge of the valuable girls. Mizuchi whines, begging for just a small piece of them. Jinga violently rebukes him, reminding him to know his place and serve their master. Sirios considers his options, pondering if he should give them one girl, or perhaps both. Mizuchi is delighted by his boss's understanding, telling Yatsushiro to work harder for his prize. Yatsushiro's eyes narrow, his face a mask of silent fury. Sirios dismisses Mizuchi as a vulgar pest, but one who is nevertheless useful. Jinga contemplates the world of yokai and how he can best utilize them. He silently praises his master's brilliant foresight and absolute control. The shadowy tendrils writhe and tighten around their helpless captives. With a sickening squelch, the shadows constrict further. Akane gasps, feeling all the strength drained from her body. She realizes with horror that her spiritual arts have been completely sealed. Her fiery spirit armament, Shure, begins to flicker and fade. The magnificent weapon dissolves into nothing but fading particles of light. Yatsushiro observes that her weapon and her fighting spirit are gone. It is over. Akane is helpless, despairing that she will lose to such monsters. Tears in her eyes, she whispers Maya's name, wondering what she should do. The crushing reality sets in. Maya is gone. She looks down, her face a portrait of utter defeat. Nagisa whispers that this is the worst possible way for things to end. A single tear falls as her hope completely vanishes. Sirios reflects on his victory, having quickly neutralized the dangerous Hashimori. He concludes that with his superclass power, his opponents never stood chance. With a sudden thud, Nagisa slams her fist into the dirt. She snarls through gritted teeth that she hates this and refuses to give up. No matter what happens, she cannot accept such a cruel fate. Sirios looks down, amused by her foolish will, calling it pathetic. A powerful declaration fills the panel, but even so, Nagisa remembers a promise from long ago, when a boy told her not to give up. A younger Maya is shown, shouting at her to never surrender. Even after being beaten bloody, he had kept on smiling. Though a simple childhood promise, is a vow she has always treasured. That's why, she thinks, forcing her body to move. Sirios looks on, an expression of intrigued amusement on his face. She struggles against the tendrils, fighting to rise. She accuses him of being behind the recent disappearances in the spirit world. She declares that he is without a doubt the mastermind behind the Tsuchigumo. Sirios' eye widens, impressed by the Kyugoku girl's sharp perception. He notes her strong eyes and the powerful will he senses within her. He grins sadistically, acknowledging her will to resist despite the odds. He doesn't dislike it. A stark statement declares his amusement to be utterly meaningless. Nagisa screams in agony as Sirios intensifies the pressure of the tendrils. He taunts her, telling her to struggle to the very end. He sadistically repeats her clan name, Kyugoku, savoring her pain. She screams back that she will not give up, even if her life is extinguished. Sirios is delighted. Yatsushiro looks on, stunned by her unwavering defiance. Mizuchi cackles, finding her futile struggle adorable, and offers to break her will himself. The monstrous Gyuki taunts that the blonde girl's spirit is finally broken. Kyugoku Nagisa grits her teeth, whispering a quiet, defiant "shut up." Her gaze remains fixed on the grotesque yokai, her defiance simmering quietly. The monstrous Gyuki turns its head, questioning her insolent whisper. Akane explodes with rage, demanding to know who they're calling noisy. She declares that she hasn't lost and will not give up now. She resolves to burn with all her might, refusing to let this be the end. Rather than become their toy, she will self-destruct and take them all with her. The shadowy tendrils tighten, crushing her resolve and draining her remaining strength. Sirios holds up his hand, calmly stating that he won't allow her to die. He compliments the Hino girl, noting she possesses a valuable, rare soul. He remarks that they are magnificent, just as the boy was. He smiles, musing that it seems they will need a sharper blade to grow. Nagisa glares, regretfully acknowledging that they are enemies, but still resolves to fight. Sirios turns away, satisfied with the encounter, declaring the night's events are concluded. A sudden, sharp sound, like cracking glass, echoes through the silent park. A close-up on a single eye, widening in shock and disbelief. Sirios looks up at the sky, demanding to know what that sound was. Maya is jolted from his thoughts. Yatsushiro questions what is happening. The Gyuki's four monstrous eyes widen in sudden, instinctual alarm. Sirios' calm demeanor shatters, his face a mask of pure shock. Glowing, otherworldly talismans materialize high in the night sky above them. A close-up reveals the intricate, alien design of one of the talismans. Akane and Nagisa recognize the artifacts, realizing it is a barrier. The golden dome of light begins to reconstruct itself around the park. Nagisa's face fills with disbelief and hope as she calls out Hashimori's name. Akane screams his name, tears of relief and shock streaming down her face. In a flashback, Maya stands confused, wondering what just happened to him. A single talisman lies on the ground, a beacon left behind. The girls see the talismans, realizing he left them as beacons. Nagisa explains Hashimori placed talismans on them without them even noticing. The Gyuki panics while Sirios curses, realizing the impossible is happening. A flashback shows Maya's face, his expression one of grim determination. Sirios' eyes narrow, sensing an immense power is about to arrive. The very fabric of space before them cracks and shatters like glass. Akane and Nagisa stare in horror, shouting that space itself is cracking. Sirios realizes someone is trying to forcibly break the dimensional boundary. A dark, winged figure begins to emerge from the shattered reality. A detailed view shows the massive, black-feathered wings of the emerging angel. The fallen angel fully emerges, a being of sublime and terrifying beauty. Akane and Nagisa look on. Their face is a mixture of absolute awe and terror. Sirios whispers in disbelief, identifying the creature as a black-winged angel. The angel stands poised, radiating an aura of ancient and overwhelming power. She opens her mouth and unleashes a long, piercing, world-shaking shriek. The angel hovers in the sky, the source of the devastating sonic blast. The Gyuki is rocked by the shockwave, amazed by the power of her voice. Yatsushiro reels back in terror, wondering what in the world this creature is. He is sent tumbling backward by the sheer force of the sonic blast. Sirios and his subordinate are also forced back by the incredible power. Sirios stares, his mind struggling to comprehend the being before him. Amidst the chaos, a single foot lands firmly on the shattered earth. Akane and Nagisa watch the scene unfold, their expressions ones of pure shock. Maya turns to them, calmly asking if the two of them are all right. He stands confidently, telling them he is sorry to have kept them waiting. A flashback shows Maya's perspective as he is left behind in the other world. A question hangs in the air. What will become of Maya, left all alone? Maya grits his teeth, cursing his own powerlessness in this dire situation. He realizes they got him, cursing them for using a forced teleportation. Small monsters emerge, chittering about the anonymous bastard who just left. He laments that he's gotten rusty since returning to his own world. He curses the dire situation, knowing it's a crisis that could wipe out the party. He clenches his fist, feeling he has failed in his duty as a guardian. He worries deeply about his friends, letting out a frustrated sigh. His face is a mask of anguish and deep concern for his friend's safety. He thinks about Akane, hoping she hasn't done anything reckless like self-destructing. He assesses the alien landscape, confirming it is the survivable otherworld. He remembers Akane and Nagisa, knowing they cannot win against their foe. The enemy is too strong. He concludes he has no choice but to return. He worries again that Akane might be considering a suicidal self-destruction. The grotesque monsters of the otherworld begin to close in around him. A close-up on a single monstrous eye, filled with primal hunger. The monsters chatter excitedly about the smell of human, a long-awaited feast. He smirks, noting the otherworld is full of monsters, but they are no threat. The monsters are eager to devour a special class being or higher. He has no time for them and decides to summon his true power. More creatures emerge, demanding his flesh, his heart, and his very brain. He closes his eyes, focusing his mind to enter a deeper spiritual domain. A sphere of concentrated spiritual energy forms beneath his feet as he floats. He floats upside down in the air, gathering his immense spiritual power. A complex, glowing seal of immense power manifests in the darkness. He is wreathed in a torrent of pure, untamed spiritual energy. He brings a finger to his lips, preparing to begin the incantation. He begins the chant, preparing to issue a command by his true name. He commands the contract's chains be unsealed in the name of Hashimori Maya. Ethereal chains begin to strain and shatter amidst a storm of dark energy. He continues the incantation, speaking of the hollow becoming the void. He calls to the King of Destruction to dance madly to his voice. From the heart of the inferno, he asks the being to lend him its power. The pitch-black fallen angel emerges from the flames, her chains shattering. He speaks her name, completing the summoning ritual, Lucifer. Her eyes open, and she lets out a powerful, world-shaking cry. The last of her ethereal chains shatter and fall away into nothingness. Now fully free, she spreads her 6 black wings in a magnificent display. As their power merges, a glowing contract seal appears on Maya's forehead. He recalls the secret art of the Hashimori, the guardian beast contract. He was a failure at 12, but the war in the other world changed him. A memory of himself in his fantasy armor, forged by endless battle. He honed his body and surpassed his limits, finally grasping this power. This power is the proof that the blood of Hashimori flows through him. She is not just a guardian beast, but his very own guardian angel. Hashimori Maya stands ready as his guardian angel. Lucifer descends upon the battlefield. Lucifer greets the chaos with a serene, confident, and utterly terrifying smile. The remaining yokai, including the Gyuki, stare in shocked, abject horror. Lesser demons scream in terror as a wave of power washes over them. In a flash of dark energy, Lucifer effortlessly obliterates the entire yokai horde. Maya smirks, noting that the demons scattering so easily was to be expected. Lucifer calls him Luff, impressed by his power, as Maya prepares for battle. With a sharp, determined gaze, Maya asks his companion if they should begin. In a flashback, Maya knows he has a place he must return to. He understands his path back from the alien landscape of the otherworld. He recalls the powerful talismans, his key to victory and return. A close-up reveals the intricate, otherworldly design of one of his talismans. "Let's continue," he declares, deploying his divine creation artifact, the 12-star talisman. From a safe distance, his allies watch the tide of battle turn. Akane cries out Maya's name, her face a mask of overwhelming relief. Nagisa whispers his name, tears of gratitude welling in her eyes. Akane becomes flustered, yelling at him for making her worry so much. Nagisa is overcome with emotion, realizing Hashimori-kun came back for her. She thinks with teary eyes how he has come to save her again. Blushing, Akane clenches her fists, overwhelmed by a storm of conflicting feelings. She looks up in awe, asking if the being is a black angel. Nagisa feels the immense, abnormal spiritual pressure, noting it isn't unpleasant. Seeing his new crest, she realizes he's like a different, inhuman person. Akane insists that it's definitely Maya, though Nagisa feels the resemblance is superficial. Akane is momentarily taken aback by Nagisa's sharp observation. Nagisa sadly acknowledges that this is a power she herself does not possess. Akane, confused, admits she has a mountain of questions to ask him. Nagisa shakes off her doubts, deciding now is not the time for such thoughts. She takes charge, telling Akane to move back, as this is now his fight. She knows the villains are now just an obstacle in his path. Akane looks on with a worried smile, asking if he will be all right. Nagisa replies with absolute certainty that he will be. Sirios now faces the combined might of Maya and his guardian angel. The villain muses on Maya's impossible return from the otherworld. He identifies Lucifer as a hegemon-class being with 3 pairs of black wings. His eyes narrow as he asks Maya if he is even an exorcist. Maya retorts with a smirk, asking what he looks like to him. Sirios tips his hat, preparing to calmly analyze this new, impossible development. He deduces Maya's plan, as Mizuchi panics at the sight of the angel. He correctly surmises Maya left a talisman with the girls as a return coordinate. Maya grits his teeth, impressed that Sirios figured it out in an instant. Sirios praises Maya's quick-wittedness and his magnificent use of concealment arts. Maya admits his experience in the other world was crucial for his return. He apologizes to the girls for their ordeal, vowing to not be careless again. Sirios asks if this means the time for a true, earnest battle has come. Maya dismisses him, stating he never intended to let them escape anyway. On top of their trap, he explains, is his own personal rage as his talismans rise, glowing with power. He unleashes his ultimate defensive formation, the Haki Yujin. He tells them it's nothing personal. He's just taking his anger out on them. Sirios and his remaining subordinates realize they are trapped inside a new barrier. Maya declares this new barrier is even more powerful than the last one. Sirios understands that teleportation is now sealed off by a brutally strong barrier. He orders his men to focus on breaking it, knowing it's their only chance. Maya and Lucifer stand together, a united front of overwhelming power. Sirius chuckles grimly, resolving himself for the fight to come. He tells his subordinate that he understands, but he has his own reasons not to lose. Sirius declares the situation has changed. They must now fight for their lives. Mizuchi panics, screaming that this is an impossible, unwinnable game. Yatsushiro shouts that they must understand. They are now the ones being hunted. Maya smirks, knowing a cornered enemy is the most dangerous. He has already repurposed his talismans to form a protective shield for the girls. He has 8 talismans reinforcing the barrier, with only 2 left in reserve. Lucifer's voice echoes in his mind, reminding him his guardian angel is here. All right, Maya shouts with manic glee. I'll finish you all right here. Lucifer unleashes a piercing shriek, its power rippling across the battlefield. You monsters! Sirius snarls, sweat beading on his brow. I don't want to hear that from you. Maya shoots back unimpressed. Jinga roars, refusing to accept this turn of events. His body begins to contort as he taps into his true, bestial form. The transformation completes, revealing a massive, powerful werewolf bound in restraints. Howling with loyalty, Jinga prepares to fight for his master. He vows to fight for the sake of his lord, the one he calls Setsuna. Maya calmly identifies his new opponent, a werewolf. Jinga roars that he will tear out Maya's heart and offer it as a tribute. He lunges, unleashing his ultimate technique, the claw of absolute murder. The air is torn apart by his Zenkyu Hyakuju, a 100-fold slash attack. Maya's eyes narrow, his senses tracking every single impossibly fast strike. The entire park is shredded by the force of the werewolf's assault. The attack rips through the landscape, kicking up a massive cloud of debris. Nagisa is thrown back by the sheer force of the shockwave. Akane cries out Maya's name, while Nagisa marvels at the incredible power. The werewolf lands, the ground cratered and broken beneath his feet. Jinga's bestial eyes are wide with disbelief and shock. Maya stands completely unharmed, casually remarking that the park is a total mess. Jinga is stunned into absolute silence by this impossible feat. Maya compliments the werewolf slash, but states his own combat power is superior. It's not over yet. Jinga roars, launching a chaotic, desperate follow-up. The Gyuki yells at Jinga to be more careful as the ground shatters again. Maya smirks, calling the attack flashy as he prepares one of his talismans. The talisman acts as a brilliant feint, drawing Jinga's attack away. The resulting explosion kicks up a massive cloud of dust and debris. Maya appears behind Jinga, having moved faster than the eye can see. Jinga is stunned, realizing with horror that none of his claws connected. Sirius shouts from the sidelines, ordering his subordinate not to falter. My master! Jinga gasps, his focus returning. Sirius commands him to continue the attack without hesitation. With a roar of renewed loyalty, Jinga obeys his master's command. He tells himself not to hesitate, to fight solely for his master's sake. Maya warns him to pay attention, as his martial arts are seriously dangerous. The monstrous Gyuki roars, complaining about how badly he and Yatsushiro have been beaten. He pauses his rant, realizing that his powerful opponent is only using close-quarters combat. Sirius observes from afar, wondering if this close combat focus is some kind of trick or feint. He shouts orders, telling his forces to stay vigilant against the angel while they finish the boy. Maya grins, fully aware of their strategy to exploit his seemingly limited spiritual power. The werewolf Jinga snarls, confident in their plan to force a battle of attrition. They believe that maintaining a hegemon-class familiar like Lucifer must have an immense spiritual cost. The battlefield explodes as they press their assault, convinced Maya's power will eventually run out. But Sirius feels a deep unease, thinking this is an overly optimistic and dangerous assumption. He cannot comprehend the true depth of his opponent's potential. Maya clutches a talisman, his power still a complete mystery to his foes. He admits to himself his power isn't infinite, but he has a plan. With a burst of speed, he declares he has no time to waste on this fight. Jinga's eye widens in utter shock at Maya's impossible acceleration. The werewolf can only exclaim how fast Maya is as he closes the distance instantly. Maya casually appears before him, asking if they met yesterday, completely unnerving him. Jinga roars in fury, denying that he knows such a twisted little brat. Maya just smiles, coolly stating that he will start by taking Jinga down first. "Don't mock me," Jinga howls, his rage boiling over at the disrespect. He lashes out with his massive, razor-sharp claws, intent on tearing Maya to shreds. Maya unleashes his technique, Zankyu Sange, a flurry of afterimages that shatters the werewolf. Jinga screams, unable to believe a mere human could defeat his superior physical form. He howls that anyone who blocks his master's path is an obstacle that must die. Akane covers her mouth, gasping in shock at the brutal, one-sided assault. Nagisa stares, admitting to herself that she cannot even follow their movements. As destruction rocks the park, Akane screams Maya's name, asking what kind of battle this is. The shockwave rips through the trees, her stunned question echoing in the chaos. Jinga's snarling visage represents his raw, savage power, now being utterly overwhelmed. Maya coolly assesses his foe, thinking he would be considered a strong opponent in this world. But he flashes back to the true monsters he faced in the other world. He recalls the legendary power of his heroic companions, a completely different league of strength. His journey has fundamentally changed his perception of what it means to be powerful. He looks at Jinga with cold eyes, stating that the werewolf's claws will never reach him. Jinga's eyes widen in disbelief at his opponent's absolute, unshakable confidence. Watching from afar, Sirios screams his subordinate's name, seeing the tide of battle turn. His face is a mask of pure panic as his plan crumbles before his eyes. He vows that for his fallen comrades, he will devour all who stand in his way. In desperation, Sirios summons a swarm of demonic hellflame crows to attack. He orders Yatsushiro to unleash his ice wolves, hoping to overwhelm Maya with sheer numbers. Yatsushiro, elsewhere, invokes his true name, preparing to summon his Shikigami. A pack of spectral ice wolves, the Inugami Goga, materializes from the frozen ground. Maya stands his ground, unfazed, as the horde of yokai descends upon him. He glances towards the sky, quietly telling his guardian angel, Lu, to take care of them. Lucifer floats serenely, unleashing her power with a silent, devastating scream. The brilliant light of her attack is reflected in Maya's determined eye. A storm of razor-sharp black feathers rains down upon the battlefield from above. The attack is an inescapable torrent of pure, concentrated destructive energy. The ice wolves and demonic crows are instantly shredded by the overwhelming feather storm. A close-up shows one of the crows being completely obliterated by the attack. Sirios is caught in the blast, his barrier straining under the relentless assault. He cries out, stunned by the feather shot, realizing he is pinned down and cannot move. Jinga, also caught in the storm, screams for his master as his body is torn apart. The mighty werewolf collapses to the ground, his form dissolving under the onslaught. He struggles to regenerate, his body racked with unimaginable pain. Maya appears above him, preparing his Gukyaku kick and telling him to die. Jinga is stunned by the secret art, a super-speed kick containing immense power. In his final moments, he vows to repay this debt to his master in death. Maya's face is a mask of cold fury as he executes the final blow. The kick connects, shattering Jinga's face in a brutal impact. Before the werewolf can recover, Maya follows up with another devastating strike. Jinga's eye widens in disbelief, unable to comprehend the relentless assault. Maya's eyes are wide with the intensity of battle, focused on total annihilation. Jinga's eye reflects his utter shock and impending doom. But his head regenerates, roaring that he is not done yet and will take Maya's head. Maya's hand is shown, dripping with the black essence of the defeated werewolf. He grabs the regenerating monster's face, his own expression grim and resolute. He holds Jinga's head, preparing to deliver the final, crushing blow. With a roar, Maya slams the werewolf's head into the ground with catastrophic force. Jinga lets out a final, gurgling cry as his skull is utterly obliterated. As his consciousness fades, he can only whisper, "What is this?" The Gyuki stares in absolute terror, finally asking himself what kind of man Maya is. He remembers seeing Maya as nothing more than a kid hiding during the Oni fight. A horrifying realization finally dawns upon the monstrous yokai. He asks Maya in a hushed, terrified voice if he was the one who killed the Oni. He curses himself for not recognizing the immense danger this man posed. Maya looks down, coldly stating that if he had noticed, he would already be dead. Mizuchi's beastly eye widens, the truth of his words sinking in like a shard of ice. Nagisa and Akane can only watch the aftermath, their faces etched with shock and awe. Jinga's eye dissolves, his life finally extinguished for good. Sirios kneels, whispering a final farewell to his master as he fades away. Maya stands over the remains, declaring his overwhelming victory and that the fight is over. The last particles of Jinga's spirit dissipate into the wind. Maya stands victorious in the crater left by his final, decisive blow. He rises, his hand dripping with the dark essence of his vanquished foe. A close-up shows his gloved hand, stained by the spiritual remains of the werewolf. A promotional title page features the trio, Maya, Nagisa, and Akane. In a full-page spread, Maya stands over Jinga's body, declaring that's one down. Lucifer's elegant hand reaches out, a wisp of Jinga's soul before her. She consumes the last of his spiritual essence in a vortex of dark, purifying flame. As Maya watches, Mizuchi looks on in abject horror at the display of absolute power. Akane and Nagisa are stunned into silence, awed by the terrifying finality of the act. Sirios kneels alone on the broken battlefield, his greatest asset gone. He looks up, his expression hardening from grief into a cold, unbreakable resolve. A memory of a smiling, loyal Jinga flashes in his mind, fueling his rage. The last wisps of Jinga's soul are shown being utterly and completely consumed. Sirios' face is cast in shadow, his sorrow now a burning ember of hatred. His eyes snap open, no longer filled with grief, but with cold, murderous intent. Dark energy coils around him as he vows to carve Jinga's loyal death into his soul. He promises his fallen servant's sacrifice will not be in vain as power gathers in his hand. Sirios rises, his hand glowing as he prepares to summon his own terrifying power. Maya identifies Sirios' spirit armament, noting the stinging yokai energy it radiates. Sirios retorts, acknowledging that Maya is just as monstrously powerful as he is. He declares that while his blade takes time to create, it can shatter Maya's defenses. He adds that his weapon is powerful enough to destroy even the fallen angel. Maya responds with a sarcastic smirk, finding his opponent's confidence amusingly frightening. Sirios returns the predatory grin, a silent challenge passing between the two combatants. The final battle is about to begin between the two powerful masters. Maya assesses the threat, deciding to trust Lucifer to protect Akane and Nagisa. He resolves to take his opponents down one by one, with absolute certainty. Yatsushiro watches nervously, realizing that even in death, these monsters are dangerous. Sirios, the anonymous sorcerer, stands ready, his true power still a mystery. Maya sighs with a confident smile, ready for the challenge that lies ahead. He knows he cannot undo his Hakyujin barrier yet. This is the reality. Sirios' blade flashes through the air with incredible, sound-slicing speed. His initial attack shatters the first layer of Maya's talisman defenses. The protective talismans shatter into countless pieces, scattering across the battlefield. Maya's eyes widen in shock at the speed and power of the attack. Sirios plunges his glowing sword deep into the ravaged earth, initiating an attack. He chants an incantation, calling upon the underworld with a pact of blood. He invites the abyss to unleash its power, fueled by resentment and curses. A storm of dark calamity lightning erupts from the ground, engulfing him. The chaotic torrent of dark energy threatens to consume the entire battlefield. Maya realizes Sirios used talismans to amplify the attack, but he stands firm. Maya seizes control of the storm, gathering the lightning into a colossal bolt. With absolute confidence, he knows it is simply a matter of winning now. He unleashes the captured lightning, sending it hurtling back toward his opponent. A look of fierce determination fills his eyes as his plan unfolds. The attack detonates in a cataclysmic explosion of redirected dark energy. Sirios appears behind Maya, mockingly thanking him for the surprising defense. Maya, with an odd mark on his face, returns the thanks with a grin. But as Sirios lunges, Maya's confident expression turns to one of shock. Sirios is suddenly taken aback as his target reveals an unexpected truth. His blade passes harmlessly through Maya, who dissolves into a shower of paper. The clone, made of talismans, completely dissipates into the air. Akane is stunned, but Nagisa realizes it was an illusion created from talismans. Maya reveals his true plan. The lightning was a feint for his clone. Sirios reacts with impossible speed, his blade flashing in a defensive arc. Maya's eye widens as his perfect plan is suddenly and violently countered. Sirios' blade finds its mark, tearing through Maya's side in a brutal counterattack. Sirios grins triumphantly, reminding Maya he promised to cut through his defenses. He reveals his weapon, Tsukabami, the sword of absolute severance, born of madness. The sword's immense power throws the girls back, a force that devours all. They cry out Maya's name, landing hard on the shattered ground. A wave of pure, destructive energy radiates outwards from Sirios' blade. Sirios looks on with confidence, his ultimate weapon now fully revealed to them. Maya kneels on the broken earth, clutching the fresh wound in his side. He admits with a pained grin that the last attack was quite dangerous. Sirios looks down, wondering if Maya is an exorcist or some kind of magician. Yatsushiro couldn't even see the exchange, terrified by the display of power. Akane breathes a sigh of relief, telling Maya not to scare her like that. Nagisa is baffled by the power that cut the barrier, looking at Maya. Sirios wishes Maya good luck, raising his sword for another devastating attack. Maya plants his foot, ready to dodge the incoming, impossibly fast assault. He narrowly dodges a powerful downward slash that shatters the ground beneath him. The attack is so close that it grazes the tips of his fingers. The blade impacts the ground with immense force, cracking the very earth. Sirios immediately follows up with another powerful, horizontal slash at close range. Maya ducks just in time, the blade whistling inches over his head. The two are locked in a high-speed duel, their movements a blur. Maya dodges a powerful kick aimed at his head, countering with his own. Their fierce battle continues, a whirlwind of strikes and deadly counters. The sheer force of their blows shatters the ground around them. Yatsushiro realizes Maya is as strong as, or stronger than, his boss. He panics, realizing Maya is a true monster. His instincts scream to flee. He argues with himself, knowing he only cooperates for his own selfish desires. Deciding against camaraderie, he looks for an opportunity to selfishly intervene. His monstrous eye spots a potential opening in the chaotic duel. He sees his chance. While the two are clashing, he can take the girls hostage. He believes that if he succeeds, even the powerful fallen angel will be helpless. The cowardly yokai sweats, his mind set on his treacherous plan. Convinced it's his only option, he transforms and charges towards the girls. Maya sees the Gyuki's cowardly plan and screams for the idiot to stop. The Gyuki laughs maniacally, declaring that it has no intention of waiting. Akane and Nagisa are startled by the sudden, monstrous rush towards them. The Gyuki relishes its plan, envisioning a future of torturing the girls. He imagines the two girls captured and helpless, victims of his cruelty. He sees their suffering as his own twisted form of ultimate salvation. But the fallen angel, Lucifer, appears before him, an impassive, terrifying obstacle. Before it can react, the top of the Gyuki's head explodes violently. Lucifer wears a serene, almost pleasant smile as she effortlessly attacks the monster. The monster is sent flying backward by an invisible force of immense power. She had simply pointed a finger, unleashing a devastating wave of pure force. The invisible attack slams into the Gyuki's body, causing it to rupture. Behind her, a vast and intricate dark magic circle materializes in the air. The Gyuki realizes with dawning horror that this situation is incredibly bad. A storm of obsidian feathers erupts from the ground, impaling the monster's body. It lets out a horrifying, gurgling scream of pure, unadulterated agony. It cries out in pain, hating the burning agony as its body dissolves. Lucifer catches a drop of the Gyuki's dark energy on her tongue. It understands with absolute terror that this being will never let it escape. It wails that it can't die yet, as its toys are still waiting. Lucifer stands before her glowing magic circle, ready to deliver the final blow. A silent, all-consuming wave of light and power washes over the battlefield. The Gyuki screams in terror, begging the inevitable destruction not to come. "What is this?" it cries, as its body begins to crumble into dust. Its body reverts to Yatsushiro's human form, screaming as he disintegrates. The monster's form shatters into countless crystalline fragments, completely unmade. Lucifer floats serenely amidst the dissipating remains of her annihilated foe. Akane and Nagisa watch in horror, whispering that the monster is breaking apart. The last remnant of the Gyuki, its jaw, fades, signifying its complete end. The Gyuki's consciousness scatters, lamenting the absurdity of its demise, believing it did nothing wrong. Its monstrous form melts away, a single eye staring out in a final, resigned gasp. The guardian angel smiles as the Gyuki's last thought praises her beautiful, destructive power.